será mi final. We always run to catch the moment. I can't stop praying. Nobody can stop me, I'm running. I'm only burning. You don't need holding. I'm only burning. Just enjoy the moment. Just enjoy the moment. How will lead us to what we love?
I just saw down to Felicitable in a one.
The Murrays have shown that before they walk in. Be your champion.
That is it. GG has been called. DMC.
Last year, we set the stage for the biggest esports tournament in Brunei. A $25,000 prize pool and a spot to show who was the best PUBG team in Brunei. But this year, we're about to go bigger. Welcome to the 𝗪𝗶𝗶𝗥𝗶 Clash Series Season 1, where you will be given the chance to start your legacy as the first ever ACS champion. You wanted more games? You've got more games. PUBG, Valorant, and Mobile Legends Bang Bang. With 3 titles, we're looking for the next kings and queens of Brunei esports. This is your chance to show the whole of Brunei, no, the whole of Borneo who's the champion, and a stake at a $27,500 prize pool. So what are you waiting for? A registration fee? I'll see you on the battlefield.
Yes, I've been back at it. On this music like a bad habit. I abuse it like a crack at it. I swoop the beat and take a crack at it.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's a great Sunday, and this is the League of Legends Wild Rift Community Clash Season number 2. As you can see, we now have a couch, and we're no longer in shorts. My name is Husky, alongside Contra for the 2nd year in a row, and today it's going to be an important day because we have the finals for the Malaysia qualifiers, we have the finals for the Brunei qualifiers, and the winner of both of those will clash in the best of 5 grand finals later on.
That's right, Husky, and all this is presented to you by MSG. Of course, great thanks to NOiZU, 𝗥𝗶𝗳𝗁, and of course ESB that's been making this possible. So far, we've already seen what the Malaysians have offered back in day 1, and of course we did have the Bruneian teams that was playing right after. So today, we're getting more action from some of the top teams that we had so far that has been able to make it all the way throughout day 1.
Yeah, absolutely. And we will start off today with a best of 3 for the Malaysia finals. Yes, and both teams have vastly different experience getting to this point, right? We had Team Have Fun, 𝗏𝗏𝗄, the WCS ragtag pro team came in, completely swept their competition 2-0. And then on the other side, we have 𝗪𝗲, who was able to take down the true WCS team, 𝗏𝗏𝗄, in a blinder of a best of 3, winning 2 back-to-back 30-minute game. And now they clash in the grand finals for that Malaysia finals for that 1 slot in the grand finals.
Exactly, and you know, there was a lot of heated discussion online and all of that stuff going on. We wanted to keep running, of course, keep it all safe for all the viewers out there, and make sure you guys hit that like button, and of course, follow the page that we're currently live streaming from. So we're about to get ourselves ready for our very first game. So we're starting off here with Have Fun as well as 𝗪𝗲, and it can't start off any better than this.
Yeah, and I want to keep my eyes on that Dragon lane in particular, right? Because we saw 𝗏𝗏𝗄 getting the first and only pentakill so far in the tournament, but he's up against Godfather Uzi. Now, putting aside the rank, I think these 2 Dragon laners, these 2 ADCs are probably the best that we have so far, but now you get this direct matchup. I want to hear your expectations.
Well, what I really do expect is for Team Have Fun to still play really solid, clean macros in that early game phase. And overall, Godfather Uzi has been able to really keep up with the tempo of play, going for those early game pressure. So I'm definitely looking forward to what 𝗪𝗲 can actually bring to the table, and what sort of picks could they actually go for. Now that you're going up against 𝗏𝗏𝗄, there's going to be certain picks that they're going to be eyeing out for without me needing to say what it is.
Yeah, and the one that I think we can all agree on is the Vayne, right? 𝗏𝗏𝗄, known for his Vayne, Godfather Uzi, one that carried that game 3 yesterday against 𝗏𝗏𝗄 with that Vayne, kind of what we expected. But coming to this, I think that champion will be permanently removed in the series, and this kind of opens up the bottom lane pool for these 2 marksmen. And in fact, you know, 𝗏𝗏𝗄, very aggressive Dragon laner, Godfather Uzi, he's exactly the same. So now we get this direct offensive Dragon laners in that bot lane.
Exactly, right? And when we take a look at the type of picks that we've seen, he's even brought out a Veigar combo with a Braum. I don't think that we're going to be seeing any of those for today. I think that they're going to be moving on to other sort of picks. And speaking of picks, it's time for us to hit right into the picks and bans as we start off here with the Malaysian finals.
Very interesting opener, right? I think a lot of people watching right now are probably looking at Have Fun and considering them the favorites, which I can't get behind, but I still think that for 𝗪𝗺, they can put up a decent degree of fight, right? We saw them play from behind yesterday. We saw how they play from ahead. Though there's this one big distinction is that 𝗪𝗺 sometimes have the tendency to be a bit too greedy and give away that lead, and that's something that Have Fun can punish them.
Yeah, and if we look at the bans right now, you can see that often than not, when we go into all the matches yesterday that were clashing bans, today it seems like they're all having different ideas and they know what to target overall. So we won't be seeing that vein for sure. But then again, it seems like they did left out one ban. It's 𝗪𝗺. Might have actually want to open up options for themselves.
That could be a possibility. And another difference is that yesterday there were a lot of emphasis on banning out enchanted supports, right? Lulu, Nami, I think Lulu, Nami, what else? Karma. They
all the supports.
All the Yuumi, right? And now all of those supports are let through. Lee Sin locked in for Have Fun to start things off, and on the side of 𝗪𝗺, it's gonna be the Olaf and the Set.
Okay. Solid start from both ends, and this is going to be the very first Lee Sin that we've been waiting for. So I want to see how well can ASD carry this through, because it seems like they have an interesting setup going on. Now you have the Shen combined with the Lee Sin. It's a really good combo where you could just chain it if you get a catch, get that Dragon's Rage, have that standing united channel, and you could basically lock that guy for days, whoever that guy is.
And now they put the Karma on top as well, so we see this extreme heavy shield composition. But on the side of 𝗪𝗺, they lock in that Janna as the secondary enchanter, and it seems like they are considering the Jhin at this point in time as well. So it's kind of a pick that I think Godfather Uzi has had the copious amount of games on. Though this Janna pick, I think, in the situation, I would take it over maybe a Nami or a Lulu simply because it gives you that much more disengaged against someone like a Lee Sin or a Shen that wants to jump right in.
Yeah, and you can see that they have very interesting ideas in hand. Like, you talk about shields, they got shields of their own from the Janna, and imagine putting that Zephyr onto a 4th shot, what the Jhin can possibly churn out. Yeah. That's a devastating damage output that they really have to keep their eyes on. And keep in mind, now we have that hover on 2 assassins, Zeus, as well as late for Scrim here, trying to get some of these huge picks over on the mid lane. So it's all about the skills, and I'm already looking forward to what we're going to get later on.
Yeah, and we're looking at 2 slightly different composition. It seems like on the side of 𝗪𝗺, it's all about that team fight. It's all about having this Set and Olaf and Diana run in and have this Jhin firing shots from behind. But Have Fun, seems like they want to go aggressive, right? Lee Sin, Zed, Shen, they all are able to access the backline, but at the same time, they have that setup with the Ashe Arrow that has that global presence.
Exactly, and now that we've already seen everything that we can get out of the picks and ban phase, I believe that is about perfect time that we jump right into our very first game here for League of Legends Wild Rift Community Clash Season 2. Yeah.
And on top of that, right, we focus a lot on this bottom lane, Godfather Uzi and Coffee, but I think another matchup that is worth keeping our eyes on is the jungle. OWO and ASD, both phenomenal junglers yesterday. I mean, OWO had his moment of brilliance. The first game that they beat Toda, it was an Infernal Dragon steal with their jungle Riven. But ASD, he kind of had his work cut short for him because they rolled over their opponents in their respective series. Now, since the bottom matchup, we expect it to be aggressive. How would you describe this jungle matchup?
Well, this jungle matchup definitely, when you look into the early game, Lee Sin's always got good clear speed as well as the ability to really move quickly across the map. But overall, I really do love this pick.
And Zeus goes straight for the skill check, right? Both ignite used by the mid laner, but 𝗵𝗶𝗧 has to expend that flash, even forced to recall bottom lane. Well, the tornado actually lands on the 𝗏𝗏, so does do some extra chip damage. Evolution not able to provide that assistance, starting with the Inner Flame level 1. But Godfather Uzi has that fleet footwork, so there is a bit extra sustain for this Jhin.
Whoa, oh, got that 4th shot. Imagine if you flash forward for a huge chunk of damage, but then again, you really don't want to waste out all these resources, so 𝗏𝗏 eventually won't want to get his own 100 for as well. Now, back to the point where we were talking about the jungle matchup. Overall, this Olaf will have free reigns heading into mid as well as late game, which is why I do think that there is a slight edge if they could actually make it past the 15-minute mark.
Yeah, and I think those team fights, when we look at the objective fights, this is going to be pretty crucial, right? You would definitely want to have 𝗪𝗚 with you. As for the side of have fun, late for Scrim, he's on the Shen, so he can always join the fight with that Stand United. In fact, to Eternalize on this Baron lane matchup, 𝗪𝗶𝗧 even trade with that Olaf showing up. Thankfully, there's the Shadow Dash, no flash needed.
Yeah, and typically when you go up against a set like many of all these, players of the Baron lane think that,
flash.
got caught.
Gonna be a root from the Karma. It'll be first blood going over to ASD. Very, very nicely done from Have Fun.
Yeah, just clean dives overall. Not really wasting too much resources, just a few flashes burned, but of course, a really good way to actually secure leads. Back towards 𝗏𝗏, having a little bit more ease of the time now that he's going to be able to, of course, have a little bit more of an extra EXP to work with. And now ASD gets 1 kill up ahead. He's going to be able to go back to his base, get the Yumu's Ghost Plate, and then he just starts roaming all across the map.
One of the better starts for a Lee Sin, right? You want to play ahead constantly, kind of like an Olaf, but this time it's ASD getting the upper hand. And I think, gotta give some props to 𝗏𝗏 as well. Him and Godfather Uzi, they both used their exhaust at the same time, so they knew that there was no way for 𝗪𝗏 to stop that Lee Sin gank, and it came out perfectly. And despite this very early start for Zeus, where he won that initial 1v1, that's completely been nullified. 𝗵𝗶𝗧 right now is in the lead with that experience advantage.
Yeah, overall we've seen those sort of early game trades, and both sides almost battered bruised.
And 𝗪𝗀 just walks up, hits an arrow, goes down, and probably want to set out the bait for Ovo to join the fight, but I think this might just be over. Curtain Call Evolution now forced to use the flash to get the exhaust on that Olaf, and it's going to be Stand United as late for Scrim joins, but he's definitely early for the fight, just in time in fact, as Have Fun picks up 2 more kills down bot.
That Stand United perfectly timed out there with that heavy committal coming out of the bomb side. Sure, 𝗪𝗀 got caught, but Godfather Uzi committed to fight onwards, and you got a Shen on the other side. You always have to be worried that it's gonna be available on level 5 onwards. So I feel like it's too early for 𝗪𝗏 to actually jump the gun.
Yeah, you have to be a bit more patient on the side of 𝗪𝗏, right? You can kind of get the idea. They saw Ovo walking down. They were like, we can sacrifice 𝗪𝗀. If only he had that level 5, which unfortunately at that time did not have the monsoon. And I just think that Have Fun was just way too ready for that, and 𝗪𝗏 completely forgot about the existence of this Shen.
Yeah, this is one of the few reasons why Janna is such a niche pick overall. Sure, it might complement some of these champions pretty well, but when it comes down to sticky situations like that, when you don't really have monsoon up and ready, if you're already getting dope for con, nothing much that you could do. You don't really have that damage. You give a shield, that's just about it. But yeah, what else could this Janna do? Are you supposed to stand in the middle of the fight just to heal up this Olaf? Was nowhere to be seen. So,
Arrow?
Not going good.
Yeah, 𝗏𝗏 just navigates that, and there's no way this Diana is getting out alive. Again, this Ashe is pretty deadly, and just in time for the objective to spawn. And ASD, he can just walk into the Dragon Pit, get the Inferno Drake for himself, and they have eyes everywhere. So it means that Ovo can't really go to the Rift Herald. In fact, even the thought of contesting this feels like a bit too overzealous, but they're going to try to. Ovo and 𝗪𝗀 both show up, completely push back the Curtain Call, should them be able to secure this, as ASD just dodges most of the shots.
Whoa, second shot of the Curtain Call looked like it's about to at least catch a little bit of that damage to fight the smite. 𝗪𝗀 Trying to survive.
Redemption, kill, Monsoon, it flashes mid-gap. Really wants the kill. But he's in the Monsoon. And meanwhile, 𝗵𝗏 actually solo kills the Shen. So things are looking a bit better for the side of 𝗪𝗏.
Yeah, adapting to the pace of the game at the very least. Now that they would have already gotten dips onto the Harrow Pit, but there's still some challenges up ahead for them. Take a look at that. Dragon's Rage already coming up online. So it's all about finding the right space for a catch, and for now, Zeus pretty far away. They gotta really put every muscle to work if they really want this Harrow.
And at the same time, 𝗪𝗡 does have to stand united. But for 𝗵𝗏, he's not in the same spot. No showstopper, only working with the Hull Breaker as that very first item, just so he could side lane better. So at the end of the day, despite those two initial picks, for 𝗪𝗏, they will not be able to convert that into any objectives.
Yeah, overall, just establishing control all across. And take a look at where ASD is currently at. Man marking onto the set, knowing the exact position of each and every member of 𝗪𝗏. So it's all about getting it in the line, but arrow misses.
Arrow was looking for 𝗪𝗀, the death mark's gonna pop, but 𝗪𝗀 survives. But all it matters, and it matters for have fun, is to get the Rift Herald. So 𝗪𝗀 doesn't go down, didn't matter.
Yeah. Overall, I think like at least they come up with a decent response, trying to get to the third plane, but here goes.
And they actually kill out 𝗵𝗏 up top now. The empowered Tether is gonna stick onto Godfather 𝗪𝗀. That means that he will go down. 𝗪𝗡 actually joins to stand united. 𝗪𝗏 had to use the Ragnarok to get out.
Oh boy. It feels like they are slowly crumbling out of their usual comfort zones, and with two sides being sieged, they will secure the first turret. Here comes the Moonfall.
Looking for the Moonfall, but instantly exhaust. The Monsoon trying to keep Zeus alive for as long as possible. Howling Gale actually hits on the Coffee, and that means the turret will help him take Coffee down. And now 𝗵𝗏 finally shows up into a showstopper, forcing the flash from Evolution. 𝗵𝗏 looking for some sort of kill, but it's 𝗪𝗀 taking a double with a Zephyr. 𝗪𝗡 just barely out of range off that curtain call.
Oh, great response overall, and that's a little bit on have fun as they kind of overstate their welcome. They really wanted the turret, but this time around, they managed to get that sort of exchange, got those sort of pickups onto Evolution. So this is where they try to even up the scorelines, but we're still seeing about 5,000 in favor of members of Team Have Fun.
And the best part for 𝗪𝗏 in that exchange was that they actually kept the tier 1 mid alive just for a bit longer. It has like around 100 health as 𝗪𝗏 gets found out by the death mark. And Zeus comes in, tries to go for some backup, forcing the flash from mid-gap, but Zeus really wants this kill, just waiting for the Crescent Strike, but mid-gap takes the Honey Fruit, heals back up, and Zeus is way too far out of bounds.
Overall, there's just a lot of back and forth of Zeus just trying to find those sort of pickups so that he could just get back aligned into getting his items up and available. Speaking of items, I think it's about a good time that we have a little bit of a check on them. Staff of Flowing Water already up for Diana. But then again, we're looking at only a Storm Razors. Meanwhile, Coffee, he's already got the rapid fire cannon up and ready.
And this is why we say that both the AD players, both the Dragon laners, are very aggressive, very offensive ones, right? 𝗏𝗏 for Godfather 𝗪𝗏. And normally when you see an Ashe, you would think, alright, first item, quick super sack. But Godfather 𝗪𝗏 is confident enough. So 𝗏𝗏 for the Jhin, and whereas for Coffee, it goes for the Gluttonous Greaves. Probably we'll be looking at a 𝗏𝗏 upgrade just based on what we've seen so far. But regardless of what enchantment he goes for, and with Have Fun, they have a 6,000 gold lead. And 𝗪𝗏, he's trying to hold on to the Ragnarok. He will be able to do so.
Yeah, and I also did spot out that they did get the Hellbreaker onto the set, which typically goes for Cleavers. Here comes the curtain call though. I don't think they can hold on.
Yeah, just to thin out the way. They want to keep this turret alive, but it's going to be Denmark into the back line. Zeus uses that Moonfall, but gets blown up instantly as 𝗪𝗏 tries to run in with the Ragnarok. They want to look for ASD. They find him. The Stand United doesn't keep him alive. 𝗏𝗏 flashes onto mid-gap, and there's a bit too far forward. And meanwhile, Coffee just free hitting on this Ashe. The constant slow from the volley means that he gets a double, and at the end of that, it will be Have Fun winning out again. 𝗵𝗏 wants to run straight towards Coffee, but this Ashe slow is just too much for him to deal with.
Yeah, and overall, you saw that late for Scrim, he also did channel out the stand united. If he arrives to the scene, this fight could have just been over and dealt with. So, I guess there's good going for them. Zeus diving in for the shutdown.
Actually finds Coffee, so there is some sort of consolation prize at the end of the day for 𝗪𝗲. They did lose that mid-tier 1. Meanwhile, like you said, late for Scream, he was never there, but he did take the top tier 2, and he himself also has the Hullbreaker in hand and the Divine Sundra. Leaps and bounds ahead of what 𝗪𝗲 is right now.
Yeah, and we're just seeing all these numbers funnel down to probably be one of the best marksmen of Malaysia. Coffee still having really good pacing on all these builds. We're getting 10k. Now the rest of Have Fun takes over the pit, and not much that they can possibly do about this. So they just have to keep giving way. But all these sort of aggressive attempts, all the desperate attempts out of 𝗪𝗲 hasn't been able to work out.
And we saw, Godfather Uzi with a very early curtain call just to try and contest the Ocean Drake, but instantly cancelled by Coffee's arrow. You see the kind of discrepancy between these two teams as Have Fun will secure the second Rift Herald. So far, all the major objectives are going their way, and we are seeing this Olaf start to fall off.
Yeah. Not too certain on what they were trying to achieve here other than securing the red buff, which you'll be able to smite it off the way. But keep in mind, the pushes are on. Sure, you have that one Hullbreaker, but what more can you possibly get? Because this Zed is just getting his hands on this inhibitor in a jiffy.
And I don't think 𝗪𝗲 can make it there in time, at least not to protect the second plating. You see that the full team is rotated there in mid-gap. He's going to commit. Gets brought backward by the Showstopper, goes for the Debma, flashes away with the Shadow. Mid-gap trying to survive that, goes back into the base, finally surrenders himself to the turret, but he has wasted plenty of time from 𝗪𝗲.
Yeah, and I guess that is a mark for himself.
Yeah.
Just moving all the way back there.
10 marks for style point.
I'll give it 99. If you survive, I'll give that one extra point.
I meant 10 out of 10, not 10 marks.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
Well. Enchanted Crystal Arrow. What score do you want to give this one?
Yeah, that one 0 out of 10.
0.
Well, one for effort. In fact, we see ASD sneak away that bot inhibitor turret. Had to use his flash just to get out, but nonetheless, it's value for Have Fun. There's no tools for 𝗪𝗲 to catch up. In fact, now Baron has just spawned, and so far 𝗪𝗲, I don't see a way for them to get any control. Meanwhile, we have 𝗪𝗲 in a solo fight against late for Scream, but it felt like late for Scream is just hitting him hard, and 𝗪𝗲 is just a wet noodle. They had to use the redemption, and even then 𝗪𝗲 is forced to flash away. Ovo shows up and decides that this ninja is a bit too much for him to handle. And at the end of that, late for Scream manhandled 3 guys from 𝗪𝗲, and they even forced out this curtain call.
Yeah, this Shen pick is perfect against a set. Like, you need that perfect counter against the guy who's the boss. Now here comes mid-gap just showing up. Monsoon gets popped, but here comes Camille.
Yeah, base out that Monsoon. Gonna be go golden ASD. Doesn't find a Dragon's Rage, but it doesn't matter at the end. Have Fun still finds the kill onto Zeus. And this Diana is not having a game at all. Now Have Fun crashing in the front doors of 𝗪𝗲, the top lane getting slowly shoved in. Mid wave is also coming in as well. The arrow hits on the 𝗪𝗲. He's gonna try and pop that haymaker just to buy a bit of time. Able to walk out thanks to the aftershock, but at the end still goes down to Coffee's red buff. And 𝗪𝗲 are in a pickle. ASD chipping down that mid inhibitor turret. Godfather Uzi has the 4th shot, but it's on a Shen. Late for Scream is a bit too durable.
Man. And they're just basically pumping gas in all cylinders, just getting the turret, moving for another kill. Mid-gap flashes off, but that mark won't get it though. Now that they've already got all the inhibitors, they can take their time with this Baron. And they're just gonna be all too busy because 𝗪𝗲's got minions to do with.
Yeah, this base is open for business for Have Fun at this point in time, right? It's very hard for 𝗪𝗲 to not only push out the waves, but they also have to, deal with the vision that Have Fun have set up in their base. And of course, 𝗪𝗲 are completely oblivious to that fact. They are under the surveillance of Have Fun. Major objectives for now is Baron Nashor. We're seeing the Elder Mountain Drake, but unfortunately, I don't think we will get to that point.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to even hit the 20-minute mark, especially with the Elder Dragon respawning up. And we saw in those sort of particular fights, this 𝗨 won't be able to soak as much damage as he intends to do. Oh, and here comes the taunt.
And the arrow lands on the Zeus, forcing the flash. And now Ragnarok also kind of baited out Redemption, keeping 𝗨 and Zeus alive. But it's 𝗏𝗄 just running in alongside mid, getting into the backline. 𝗏𝗄 cleaning up piles. One Penta is not enough. 𝗏𝗄 wants two of them. And has to break the Nexus shot. So far he can only set up for a triple. 𝗁𝗏r, the last breath. All they want to do is to kill someone, but it's 𝗏𝗄 with another quadra kill. Zeus doesn't want to give it to him, but they will go for the time regardless. Zeus goes in for the moonfall, doesn't connect. Goes golden, and 𝗏𝗄, he knows he has his penta in the bag, and 𝗏𝗄 finds another penta kill to start off the day.
𝗏𝗄. Each day he offers us a pentakill on the first game of the day.
And 𝗏𝗄 is hitting KPIs on those multi-kills. I think, you know, if he doesn't get a pentakill, his team will sack him by the end of this tournament. But what a performance.
That's too harsh for this guy.
He's used to it, you know. He has the what do you call it, the perseverance, you know. He brags about his KDA.
I mean, if you're that good,
you have the bragging, right?
You gotta post it up, right?
Like, you gotta. In fact, I don't think I saw the screenshot yesterday, so I hope he does it again. Maybe
it's a collective.
Yeah, he's collecting.
Wait till the whole tournament's over.
Yeah, like he's probably gonna get one in the grand finals, and then he'll post it. You know, guys, pentakill every single series. But you know, with that aside, an incredible performance, opening performance from Have Fun. Kind of like what we expected, right? We expected them to be the favorites, but you know, the one thing that kind of was out of expectation was that Have Fun made 𝗁𝗏r look like just another team.
Well, then again, I think that you still have to give where credit is due, that no team has been able to keep up against Team Have Fun. Like, you just saw, like, the ones who tried didn't even come close. Like, you saw the scores were like 14-7 at first, of course, before the final fight. And the goal that was mounting up, they were still trying to break open certain avenues, but then again, they can't really find that sort of opening because of the way that they've been able to just have that steady control, the positioning of each and every member other than just 𝗏𝗄. It's a collective effort overall, so yeah, just gotta give it to them.
I think, you know, it's, you know, the macro play is sublime. You know, the individual mechanics, the individual understanding from these players. Every lane was winning, right? It was just kind of like it's like how we saw them previously when they played in the WCS circuit. Right now, you know, despite us saying that this is a mixed bag of pro players, but they have all been on that stage. They've all played with and against each other. Now those individual skills are really taking center stage against 𝗁𝗏r.
Yeah, just want to see, could this be the team that he's going to be playing with by the time that we get to the next WCS? Because they've been looking pretty solid, but of course, there's ample time before anything is, you know, well secured or so, because this is a community tournament. I really want to see by the time that, you know, each and every team grows on, we'll just see higher quality levels of play throughout the region overall. But of course, this is the League of Legends Wild Rift Community Clash Season 2, brought to you, presented by MSG, as we are moving forward for Game 2.
Let's see what the changes are going to be, because we saw 𝗁𝗏r going for a more team-based draft, right? It's all about Godfather Uzi, it's all about setting up for him with that 𝗨 jungle. But it seems like those teamfight comps didn't work out. For the side of Have Fun, they can just go with the same bans. I don't feel like they need to change anything. But for 𝗁𝗏r, now the pressure is on them. They're taking out teamfight champions. No Evolution Karma and no late for Scrim Shen.
Yeah, and one thing that I would like to see change from 𝗁𝗏r is to have a high-impact support role being played by LXY. Because Janna, I think there's really good reasons why you shouldn't be playing it in a competitive 5v5 setting, because you got a Lee Sin on the other side. Easy cancellation of that monsoon either ways. So now he's going to be going with this first pick. We have a couple of options left available. Though, if you want to play Enchanters, Yumi's available.
There's Yumi, there's Nami, right? The two enchanters that are still on the table, after the ban phase. But guess what? It's a coffee Vayne. I think this game is pretty much half done. With the Yuumi on the team of Have Fun, I think they are done playing. They want to end this as quick as possible.
Well, oh well. I'm scared not because of the Vayne or the Yuumi. I'm seeing a hover of that Teemo, and I think that's the final boss, man. That's the final boss.
Do we have the Devil Teemo skin in Wild Rift? I actually don't remember. What skins do we have?
I believe we do.
I know we have Hexplorer Teemo. Because I think I own that.
Yeah, I do too. Honestly, I don't play enough Teemo to know what skins are there on Wild Rift.
I know that I think there are only 2 skins from the Hexplorer skin line. I don't have Galio.
I think there's the bunny ears, Cottontail Teemo.
The Cottontail Teemo, yeah.
Yeah.
But I actually think the Hexplorer skin line is great.
It's amazing.
But I
like the new NASA skin though.
Oh yeah,
I think that looks even cooler.
I'm like 10 levels away from unlocking that. I felt like
5 more levels till I get the pose.
to get the pose?
Yeah, like the final level, and then you get like the skin pose.
Oh right. Oh yeah. I'm 10 more levels from the pose, not from the skin. I already got the skin. I think I'm like rank 6, tier 65. So we get the Alistar Tristana out for Wintor. Fiora comes in the Baron lane. Perfect skill check. Kind of what we saw yesterday with a bit of adjustment. Jax jungle once more is great against auto attackers. But the problem is right now, this Jax felt like it's specifically meant to deal with the Vayne because everyone else doesn't care about him.
Yeah, exactly. And, there was a slight hover on Singe, and what we've noticed so far on the past few games is that Singe has been constantly being banned out. Now, switch it over to the Akali. Now, I think that it's all about skill matchups overall for those solo lane. And now, Tristana versus Vayne, traditionally, if you compare power spikes, it's quite equivalent, but Tristana definitely packs a little bit more punch. But what I do like about Winter this time around is the sort of ease of execution that they have on their comp. A couple of point and click stuff going on, or just right clicks overall. But this Fiora, how well can 𝗵𝗏 play him?
And you also have, and I think, 𝗵𝗏 in that previous game, they did have some moments to stand up against late for Scrim, right? We were looking at this Set Shen matchup, but now it's a Fiora into a Pantheon, a heavy skill check. If it's anything that 𝗵𝗏 showed us is that he can pull off those clutch moments, right? With engaged champions. But this one is just for dueling. And as he the duelist, I think this game will answer that. And I just want to add on to your point in the Dragon lane, other than the fact that we have this Tristana Alistar, the fact that they have this hard engaged comp means that if Coffee and Evolution gets caught out of position, we can see Godfather Uzi go in for the aggressive moves and try to take that lead.
Yeah, the thing scary that is really scary about Tristana is the repeated rocket jumps that he could possibly come up with. So if he gets into sticky scenarios, sure, you could just easily use that buster shot. You could just shoot away that pesky Pantheon or Gragas that's gonna look for a body slam, the stun. Now, what's interesting to me is that if they were to have this Yuumi hop on board to this Vayne, it kind of makes it easier in essence, where you could just easily go in for that hit pulverize, and if he just comes in with a little bit more of a knockback, it's fine. Do it again later on.
Yeah, exactly. And we already saw, Coffee and Evolution, they stole away one of the Crux, get that XP advantage, and not just that, they completely zone out this Dragon lane. Godfather Uzi and Alex_Y missed the entire first wave without getting any experience or gold at all. So we're already off to a very rough start. In fact, Coffee will be 2 levels up at this point. And it's just a very tough opening. Now that Godfather Uzi isn't even level 2, this jungle Gragas can show up. And I think Wintor knows this. They are bringing Ovo and Zeus down bot, but even then, they still are under level.
It is such a rough position to be at, but then again, something good may come out of it if they were to really go in for that heavy dive down bot. So knowing for a fact that this is too much of a risk, you can see that they are already backing up, rotated over onto the scuttle. So one way or the other, they get to keep their goalie.
Yeah, and we saw that first blood for 𝗵𝗏 up top, but he did burn to the ignite from the Pantheon. Still a good start nonetheless, though. You get the extra gold for the Fiora, and the fact that you can constantly keep up with this Pantheon is always very important, especially when we hit level 5. That Grand Challenge will kind of, set 𝗵𝗏 apart from 𝗪𝗏𝗧, just matchup-wise. We're 2.5 minutes away from the first objective spawn. So far, I think this Dragon Lane is going fantastic for 𝗏𝗄 and Evolution.
Yeah, so things are going great over on that Baron lane, it seems. 𝗵𝗏 hasn't really been all too troubled. Sure, they went for those sort of trades. They each get 1 kill apiece. Typical things that happen, like especially when both sides are bringing Ignite to the fight. So now that you're looking at 𝗵𝗏 looking for either a Sunder or, of course, the Triforce, kind of halfway there already, Pantheon could easily bring out that Black Cleaver later on, but instead, he's going for a BF sword, so that's a big spike of damage that he has.
Yeah, I'm thinking if he's considering like a hull breaker, right? Because he does have that global presence with the Grand Skyfall. This bottom lane, suppression continues for the side of Have Fun. OO finally shows up to the Crux, but again, there's just no avenues to gank. Even when they get that mid priority, it's very hard for them to make any moves against 𝗏𝗄 and Evolution. Alex Weiss, only level 3, and Godfather Uzi is also trailing quite far behind. Not even getting that ultimate just yet, and 𝗏𝗄 is just getting these 3 hits in, but he's running that lethal tempo, so the longer the fight goes, the stronger 𝗏𝗄 becomes.
Yeah, overall, the addition of this rune has been enabling so many of all these pigs to really have great strengths in those prolonged fights. And speaking of fights, we're getting one.
Mid-gap comes in, they go for the jump, a cast to separate the Alistar, and just very clean moves from the side of Have Fun. Oh, he got the read right. Zeus a bit late, but doesn't matter, right? The movements at the end, they don't amount to anything.
Yikes. Like, you just seen an Alistar get blown up to bits in less than 3 seconds.
Yep. And that's
He's level 4. He didn't have his ultimate. No unbreakable will. He's not even a stake. Like, this is a baby cow in the making.
It's well done. They accidentally burnt him.
Burned him.
Yeah. And that Ignite. That all started from, the early zoning, right? Coming up from 𝗏𝗄 and Evolution. And it's going to Ignite used by 𝗪𝗏𝗧 onto 𝗵𝗏. And that's going to definitely force him to completely back off. Even with the Grand Challenge, he knows that he can't really fight this Pantheon head on. And just like that, 𝗵𝗏 kind of forced to stay. And since there's a flash in, Grand Challenge, repulse, returned flash from 𝗪𝗏𝗧. He's not going to be able to proc that Grand Challenge in time.
Oh no, I didn't like that sort of execution, because after you use that early repulse, you're pretty sure that Pantheon's coming back for you, so he's gonna lose that turret regardless. You burn the flash for it, you burn an ult, now another one that will bite the dust eventually.
The exhaust, they get the stun to 𝗏𝗄, the rest of Winter coming, but 𝗏𝗄 is going to the final hour. The invisibility is gonna help him get stunned by the counter strike. The final chapter is out, the mid-gap shows up, 𝗏𝗄 goes down, and it will be the moonfall from Zeus as OO tries to counter strike away the safety. Zeus protecting him, and mid-gap is alive. The rest of Have Fun, they have shown up, and he's already out of the fight. And that means Zeus is next on the chopping block. Mid-gap looking for him to get the body slam off, proc electrocute, a cast to separate Zeus, and they allow mid-gap to burn him with the Ignite. Zeus does not have the Pale Cascade, and it will be Have Fun picking up 2 kills.
Have Fun may not have the cleanest of fights. We saw that 𝗏𝗄 was trying his level best to maybe pull off another pentakill, but unfortunately that final hour was lopsided. But who could you blame when this Yuumi was looking for that angle? You press it, you expect them to be somewhere up front, they went right behind, so yeah, tough luck. But then again, they're still in the lead, they managed to still claim lives that actually mattered, and there we go. Hit the pulverize onto mid-gap. Mid-gap could only try his level best to clear off the wave and hope that this turret stays intact, but he's gotta leave.
But if you're Winter right now, you gotta clear this up fast and get ready to contest the objectives, because Zeus is forced to reset. Gone on as well. 𝗏𝗄 and Evolution are just such menace. And in fact, ASD has already snuck away the Rift Herald. It's gonna drop in mid, and this turret will definitely fall. So 𝗪𝗲, despite getting that first turret, they're still going to lose the most important structure in that middle lane.
Yeah, overall having some really good control of the early game. All the tier 1s are already being secured. Now, free access into the Drake pit as well. No response whatsoever from the rest of 𝗪𝗲 while they're just busy catching back up to speed in gold. We're already seeing close to 5,000, or has it already been 5,000? It's too early in the morning for me to calculate anything
It's
at all.
5,000. No, it's increasing too
Thank you,
fast.
Husky.
It's increasing way too fast. It will be 6,000 in a bit.
And you did ask, is he gonna build that Hullbreaker? Yes, it is. Look at what he's got.
𝗪𝗏𝗳𝗁 Pantheon completely demolishes this Fiora, right? He, like what, almost a 2,000 gold advantage. He has the Fate, but most importantly, he has to play the steel caps for the damage reduction, and he has the Executioner's Calling. So for 𝗪𝗏, he is not going to win any 1v1 duel at this point. And late for Scrim
Very stacked
is
up.
all about that split push. And we haven't even seen a Grand Skyfall just yet because he is not needed in any of these fights.
Yeah. Overall, they're playing this early game perfect. I just have to reiterate because late game Pantheon's not going to have as much of the high effect, and here comes the Grand Challenge.
Try to punish him. Late for Scrim. Most likely going to go down. There's going to be a Grand Challenge. Flash forward with the counter strike, and 𝗏𝗄 now caught out in the open. They want to run him down, but 𝗏𝗄 has a lot of shield from Evolution. Godfather 𝗪𝗀 jumps in. 𝗪𝗏 follows up to get the polarize on the Evolution, and it will be 𝗪𝗲 getting a 3-man beatdown.
Well, they were all caught off of position. There is no business to be dealt right inside of the enemy's jungle, but 𝗪𝗏 though, play with fire. Here comes Zeus.
Just tries to go for the moonfall. 𝗪𝗏 still gets the kill onto him. It's gonna pat on that ego a bit, but Godfather 𝗪𝗀 claims the kill, and I think that's the most important part of that exchange.
This could be the turning point, and that's where ASD comes in with a flash, body slam, secures yet another one for Have Fun. Still for a little bit of tit for tat, but then again, it's still not too telling. But the sort of assurance that they have is that late game. 𝗨 already got that Triforce down. Sure, he may have looked like, yeah, he's only getting his very first item by the span of 9 minutes. I think it's still decent. Once you hit that late game, this Jax will be hard to control. Sure, you have 𝗏𝗄 who's going to be trying his best to shred him off. All you have to do is just to dodge all these sort of bolts flying his way.
Yeah, and what worries me is that there's only one damage reduction, source of damage reduction, and it's on Godfather 𝗪𝗀. Oh, wow, there's no chance for any repulse. In fact, he gets it up just in time. The Grand Challenge, though, still does not proc. And Alex White is going to get gone on by 𝗏𝗄, and 𝗏𝗄 runs forward, gets hit by the counter strike. But it is 𝗏𝗄. He knows that he will not go down. Evolution just tops him back up. All the effort put in by 𝗪𝗲 gone to waste. Buster shot just to keep 𝗏𝗄 at bay, but there's going to be a cast into a condemn. And Godfather 𝗪𝗀 is not the original. 𝗏𝗄 wins that one.
Well, oh well. I think it's a little bit of miscommunication right there, as we can see.
Yeah.
Some of them backing off, already channeling the recalls, and he's like, I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna fight 𝗏𝗄. I'm the better ADC.
I'm 𝗪𝗀, you know, he's playing my champion.
Yeah, like, how dare you take it away?
𝗨, I think he's burning to the rip buff to get some lifesteal off. And let's have Alex White by his side. Meanwhile, we get a 1v1 duel down bot, and 𝗪𝗏 again gets the solo kill. Does burn down, does die because of the caster minion, but you know, if you're 𝗪𝗏, you happily take those trades.
Yeah, overall, still a really solid display of both sides really flexing every single skill that they have, and this is why I love watching these two teams fight off, because the mid lane action is always so exciting. Sure, they carried forward with that sort of fight down bot. Zeus just have damage to offer overall. He's even built that Crystalline Scepter. Sure, get this Herald on their hands of Have Fun. It's quite a given, because we have seen 𝗪𝗲 really taking steps backwards. They know that, hey, we don't really have the strength to contest for all these objectives. Let's just take this one step at a time. If they're just gonna come in at us, try to get those 1v5s going on, yeah, we can just pick them up another time.
The funniest thing about this Crystalline Scepter build is that it only really works against the Pantheon, because everyone else does magic damage and on-hit damage, right? Like 𝗏𝗄 does on-hit damage, 𝗪𝗏 does magic damage, ASD does magic damage. So this Crystalline Reflector feels a bit of a weird purchase. Nonetheless, 𝗪𝗲 still gets 𝗏𝗄 down, reset the rocket jump into a leap strike, get ASD as well. They want to run down Evolution, but this Kitty Cat is a bit too durable.
Well, this is where we start to see the tables turning over. Those 3 pickups overall. Oh boy. Evolution still staying put though. You gotta run!
He's a bait. 𝗪𝗶𝗳 is coming. You gotta get rid of Evolution and get out. Godfather Uzi. Rockets jump over the wall. 𝗪𝗶𝗳 flashes. Perfect execution. And ignites 𝗪𝗀 for the kill. The second prop onto Zeus. He's already gotten a double. And this one last auto attack should do the job. Zeus tries to run away. They have 𝗪𝗀 backing him out with the Grand Challenge. 𝗪𝗶𝗳 tries to go for the fight. 𝗪𝗀 needs to proc the Vitals. C4 is dead. 𝗪𝗀 procs the Grand Challenge. Tries to win it out. But there is the stasis enchantment for 𝗪𝗶𝗳. He's waiting for the kill. The 5-point strike doesn't come back up in time. And 𝗪𝗀 finally wins the fight with the help of Zeus. And late for Scrim shows up. Tries to look for any sort of avenue but doesn't find it.
Zeus, oh Zeus. He's been constantly challenging 𝗪𝗶𝗳, but you saw the reactions out of 𝗪𝗶𝗳. Moves in with the perfect execution. First strike gets 1.
Yeah.
Finds another angle. Flashes forward. Just dropped that ignite. They got 𝗪𝗀. And that sort of chase was so risky. Even though that Diana was overwhelmed, it's like, okay, this is my time. I'm gonna go back in and we're gonna stop this guy, get the shutdown, which he did.
Yeah.
And I think that they're still gonna settle the score because it's definitely not over. Now it's all even up in terms of kills, but things might have changed. Coffee's on it.
Yeah, 𝗪𝗀 forced to pop the ultimate. It's gonna expire pretty soon. Coffee is playing with fire right now. They get the exhaust onto Zeus. Oh, he's here with the counter strike. They use the final chapter. 𝗪𝗶𝗳, perfect execution out of the way. 𝗪𝗀, good repulse, but he's still set on fire by the ignite, and that will burn him down. Late for Scrim picks up that kill. And that means that Have Fun can now go for the Baron if they want to, but they want more. They want the Jax and Grand Skyfall finally used. First time in 14 minutes, the cast doesn't connect. But 𝗪𝗲, I don't think they can defend this.
Yeah, they just really have to give way. They do have 4 members, but they really have to take their time to heal up. But here comes 𝗪𝗶𝗳.
Goes in, tries to be a bit too overzealous, takes the shuriken and into his death. And with all things considered, right, Ovo is actually 3-0, so he's not having the worst of games. He even went for the Twin Shadows just so they could snuff out the 𝗂𝗏. But that means that this Jax has to play a bit more careful in these fights. You don't have the luxury of going golden.
Yeah, very likely he's going to be moving into Guardian Angel's build overall. And what's interesting to me is that they took the Twin Shadows just to at least get to spot Coffee if he ever goes on final hour, if he's close enough, that is.
Yeah.
But even so, like, now it's going to save them time for face checking, which, honestly, if we take a look at it, the amount of times that Just Have Fun have already committed a few flaws just by moving deep in the jungle, face checking into the bushes, getting themselves into uncharted territories, and yeah, I guess like this 13-13 result that we're seeing here is kind of telling that nobody's perfect. But so far, O's looking like he will have his perfect score win. But
yep.
Here comes 𝗪𝗀.
Override 𝗪𝗀. This is just to buy time. Try to flash away, but you have Coffee on top of him and the body slam him. ASD is going to do the job, and Coffee once more. Oh, perfect execution from 𝗪𝗶𝗳. They're going to just die past the inhibitor turret because why not? Final chapter to keep Godfather Uzi in place. Coffee still wants the kill. Whoa. And he's going to get a double kill. And in a blink of an eye, we got an ace. And that means that Have Fun, that's going to run down that mid lane, roll out the red carpet because they are going to the grand finals.
My goodness me. Did you see how many shots of the Nexus blows that he survived from? Of course, he's got to thank the Yuumi for Evolution is working in tandem with him perfectly fine. And there you go. Our winners from the Malaysian side, Team Have Fun. They got all the way through with a perfect 2-0 sweep.
Yeah, perfect 2-0 and a pentakill to kick off the first game of both series that they play in. I don't know how else to describe other than they look incredibly strong. But now they have conquered the region of Malaysia. Next up, they will have to face off, the representatives from Brunei. And speaking of that, in the next series, we are going to have the grand finals of the Brunei qualifiers to find out who will go up against Have Fun later on.
Well, I definitely think that it's quite a solid start, but we're in for even more treats to come as you are currently watching the League of Legends Wild Rift Community Clash Season 2. My name is Contra, this is 𝗪𝗂, all this presented by MSG, and of course, huge thanks to NOiZU, AgriMine, as well as everyone from ESB. We're going to take a little bit of a short break for commercial, and we'll be right back.
𝗪𝗶𝗹𝗱 𝗥𝗶𝗳𝗁 be your champion.
And indeed, TG has been called DNC.
Last year, we set the stage for the biggest esports tournament in Brunei. A $25,000 prize pool and a spot to show who was the best PUBG team in Brunei. But this year, we're about to go bigger. Welcome to the 𝗪𝗶𝗪 Series Season 1, where you will be given the chance to start your legacy as the first ever ACS champion. You wanted more games? You've got more games. PUBG, Valorant, and Mobile Legends Bang Bang. With 3 titles, we're looking for the next kings and queens of Brunei esports. This is your chance to show the whole of Brunei, no, the whole of Borneo, who's the champion, and a stake at a $27,500 prize pool. So what are you waiting for? A registration fee? I'll see you on the battlefield.
Yes, I've been back at it. On this music like a bad habit. I abuse it like a crack addict. I soak the beat and take a crack at it.
brain. Nobody can stop me, I'm running. I'm only burning. You don't need holding. I'm only burning. Just enjoy the moment. Just enjoy the moment. How will lead us to what we love? kids and we are far. All these things I remember, 'cause we are stay there forever. All these things I remember, 'cause we are stay there forever.
down to 𝗪𝗶𝗹𝗱 𝗥𝗶𝗳𝗁
The Marines are killing everybody won't win. Be your champion.
That is it. TG has been called DMC.
Last year, we set the stage for the biggest esports tournament in Brunei. A $25,000 prize pool and a spot to show who was the best PUBG team in Brunei. But this year, we're about to go bigger. Welcome to the 𝗪𝗶𝗪𝗥 Series Season 1, where you will be given the chance to start your legacy as the first ever ACS champion. You wanted more games? You've got more games. PUBG, Valorant, and Mobile Legends Bang Bang. With 3 titles, we're looking for the next kings and queens of Brunei esports. This is your chance to show the whole of Brunei, no, the whole of Borneo, who's the champion, and a stake at a $27,500 prize pool. So what are you waiting for? A registration fee? I'll see you on the battlefield.
Yes, I've been back at it, on this music like a bad habit. I abuse it like a crack addict. I swoop the beat and take a crack at it.
Down to 𝗪𝗶𝗹𝗱
The Marines are killing everybody won't win. Be your champion.
That is it. TG has been called DMC.
Last year, we set the stage for the biggest esports tournament in Brunei. A $25,000 prize pool and a spot to show who was the best PUBG team in Brunei. But this year, we're about to go bigger. Welcome to the 𝗪𝗶𝗪𝗥 Series Season 1, where you will be given the chance to start your legacy as the first ever ACS champion. You wanted more games? You've got more games. PUBG, Valorant, and Mobile Legends Bang Bang. With 3 titles, we're looking for the next kings and queens of Brunei esports. This is your chance to show the whole of Brunei, no, the whole of Borneo, who's the champion, and a stake at a $27,500 prize pool. So what are you waiting for? A registration fee? I'll see you on the battlefield.
Yes, I've been back at it, on this music like a bad habit. I abuse it like a crack addict. I swoop the beat and take a crack at it.
Welcome back to the League of Legends Wild Rift Community Clash Season 2. We just got done with the Malaysia qualifier finals where 𝗪𝗪𝗀 came up on top in a great 2-0 win over 𝗪𝗲𝘀. But now we're going to see who will qualify for the second spot in the grand finals, because it's time for the Brunei finals itself. I'm 𝗪𝗪𝗀 alongside Contra, and we have a banger of a best of 3 coming up between Dream and Dream 2.
That's right, we got a whole lot of dreams here from the Bruneian side, and you know, the grand finals always have something special to offer, and of course, the ones that have been able to put on this amazing show, and of course, all this is presented by MSG, and we'll also give a shout out to NOiZU, Agrimind, as well as ESB for having us here for, you know, 2 years in a row. So let's make it 3.
Yeah, that's definitely great, right? It just feels awesome to be able to witness some Wild Rift during this off season. I think another interesting thing is that we don't get much chance to see the Brunei region play. So now
this is the very first time.
This is the very first time, in fact, that I think both of us get to witness how the playstyle is like. Are there any expectations coming into this series?
Yeah, and I could see that we have all these really skilled players from, you know, a lot of all the ranks where we've seen Grandmasters, Masters, and even challenges on the board as well for Brunei. They are definitely looking pretty sharp, and I've seen names like Slash, Humble Division coming out of Team Dream, and I'm thinking that they definitely will have some of the interesting sort of picks that they will have to offer, since this is going to be our very first time casting for their very own region. So I want to see what's the meta really like for Brunei.
Yeah, and I also want to see like how how they would fare against each other before we head into the grand finals, right? Because it's still pretty agreeable that Have Fun is the favorite team to probably sweep the whole competition without dropping a single game. We were expecting 𝗪𝗲 to put up a decent fight. At the end of the day, it was more in the hands of Have Fun being a bit too lax in some of their plays rather than 𝗪𝗲 putting up a good enough fight. But with that all set aside, I think right now Have Fun will be watching this series closely to kind of figure out what they're up against.
That's right, and when we had a glimpse of each day coming out with pentakills out of coffee, like that is a tough feat to beat, but perhaps Brunei could actually top off the charts right here. I believe that they will have interesting form of style, so it's more of like, is it more Baron lane focused? Is it mid lane focused? Jungle pressure, is it going to be on the high? It's going to be a blank canvas for both of us, and it's great to actually cast for these names for the very first time.
And every time I look at a different region, the first thing that comes to mind is what X factor pick do they have, right? What curveball will they throw at the meta, right? We talk so much about picks like a jungle Wukong that you probably would never see win a game, the Evelynn that's going to get nerfed pretty soon. And then all of that, we also say that we haven't seen an Echo being picked, despite Echo being one of the popular picks in solo queue. So let's see if Brunei can make that difference, because I want to see that individual flair from this region.
That's right, and speaking of which, I'm just looking forward to see them coming up with some of all these flashy plays early on. We've seen that Zed versus Diana. Wow, that was a pretty sick way to go about things, where we had 𝗪𝗲. Or was it that Zed versus Akali?
It was a Zed Diana, right? And
Yeah.
it's Akali Diana.
Yeah, like both definitely have been looking pretty sharp. And mid-gap, I guess that he really styled on them for quite a little bit on either of these champions. That now we're still waiting for our very first game to begin for the Brunei nations clash overall. And out of this best of 3, well, I guess that whoever wins, it will still be a dream.
Yeah, and in fact, the fun fact...
Dream 1, Dream 2.
Dream 1, Dream 2, right? The fun fact is that these two teams are actually, I believe, sister teams, so kind of a sibling rivalry going on, but unfortunately one of their journey ends today. But for the other, it's kind of 2 consecutive series in a row, so I think that if you are Have Fun, you just have so much time to study, to figure out how to counter-strat your opponents. Not that I think it matters too much to Have Fun. They are so comfortable in their own skin, whereas up against a team that comes from a more niche region like Brunei, I kind of feel like whoever goes up into the grand finals later on might surprise us.
Yeah, I believe that there's always going to be a diamond in the rough waiting to be discovered. And of course, you guys too can join in the League of Legends community clash in the upcoming seasons. Of course, this is all going to come to a conclusion by the end of today. So we hope that more of you guys will be able to participate. Make sure you like the page, because there's going to be a lot more updates coming in for all of you, and maybe even other game titles to be played out. So there's just going to be a whole lot of awesome news coming forward. But Husky, we've seen quite a number of games already. What's the sort of favorite picks that has been played by any of the players of the tournament?
Favorite picks? I think Newgate and Jungle Riven. I think Jungle Riven is possibly my favorite hidden pick. My favorite champion is actually Kha'Zix, but right now I think Jungle Riven is again a sleeper pick that a lot of people don't really recognize the potential of, and even if they pick Jungle Riven, a lot of people don't really know how to utilize the champion. It's a champion that I think, even though sometimes you probably get owned early on, you probably get counter gang, or you get outplay and you go like 0-2. It is a champion that can recover the later the game goes. You just have to find an opportunity. So, favorite pick, definitely Riven.
Yeah. Overall, when we have seen some of all these sort of highlight plays out there, I think like one of the picks that were memorable to me was that 𝗥𝗓 over on the Baron lane. Sure, it may not be the very first time that we've seen it, but it was still genius because you're going up against a Shen that you could easily juke him for days whenever he comes in for a taunt. And you just basically shove waves, go in the fight, revive your teammates. Like, 𝗥𝗓, I feel is one of the most underrated champions overall. Sure, when it was released, it was kind of nutty, but adjustments overall has really kept it in balance. So, other than that, 𝗥𝗓. Let's talk about 𝗥𝗓 for a bit.
Okay.
That was my favorite pick until like all these nerfs starting to hit. And now it just feels slightly unplayable after that early game. But sure, you got some good mid game going on. Late game 𝗥𝗓 doesn't really pack a punch anymore.
Yeah, I feel like it's a good thing because 𝗥𝗓 was too big of a menace back then. You open up a lot more picks in that solo lanes. Though we talk about how champions like Echo hasn't been picked much. I don't think we've seen Lulu being picked at all. One more pick that I think has really fallen out of the local meta is 𝗁𝗁ky, right? The 𝗁𝗁ky, Hullbreaker 𝗁𝗁ky mid, or the Dragon Laner 𝗁𝗁ky if needed. It's also a pick that hasn't been touched much in recent patches, but still a lot of players decide to go for other choices.
Yeah, I guess there's a few reasons why, because a lot of the teams from the NYSG region, they like a lot of assassins over mid lane.
Yeah.
So long as you don't ban things like a Zed or a Diana, that 𝗁𝗁ky's gonna have a little bit of a rough time. But everybody else, 𝗁𝗁ky just dumpsters them easily.
Absolutely.
So overall, I think it's still going to be a very viable pick, and it's a flex pick, which is going to be an asset for whichever teams that picks it up. So it's really down towards how well you control that early game to get some of these power spikes out of the first two items.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have made a lot of speculation. We've given a lot of expectations for this upcoming series, but we got to hold our excitement for a while. We're going to cut to a short commercial break, and we will come back for the finals of the Brunei qualifiers for the WRCC.
The Marines have killed them before they walk in. Be your champion.
That means it. GG has been called. DMC.
Last year, we set the stage for the biggest esports tournament in Brunei. A $25,000 prize pool and a spot to show who was the best PUBG team in Brunei. But this year, we're about to go bigger. Welcome to the Ampro Clash Series Season 1, where you will be given the chance to start your legacy as the first ever ACS champion. You wanted more games? You've got more games. PUBG, Valorant, and Mobile Legends Bang Bang. With 3 titles, we're looking for the next kings and queens of Brunei esports. This is your chance to show the whole of Brunei, no, the whole of Borneo, who's the champion, and a stake at a $27,500 prize pool. So what are you waiting for? A registration fee? I'll see you on the battlefield.
Yes, I've been back at it, on this music like a bad habit. I abuse it like a crack addict. I soak the beat and take a crack at it.
The Marines have killed them before they walk in. Be your champion.
That means TG has been called DMC.
Last year, we set the stage for the biggest esports tournament in Brunei. A $25,000 prize pool and a spot to show who was the best PUBG team in Brunei. But this year, we're about to go bigger. Welcome to the 𝗪𝗶𝗨𝗥 Series Season 1, where you will be given the chance to start your legacy as the first ever ACS champion. You wanted more games? You've got more games. PUBG, Valorant, and Mobile Legends Bang Bang. With 3 titles, we're looking for the next kings and queens of Brunei esports. This is your chance to show the whole of Brunei, no, the whole of Borneo, who's the champion, and a stake at a $27,500 prize pool. So what are you waiting for? A registration fee? I'll see you on the battlefield.
Yes, I've been back at it, on this music like a bad habit. I abuse it like a crack addict. I soak the beat and take a crack at it.
The Marines have killed them before they walk in. Be your champion.
That means TG has been called DMC.
Last year, we set the stage for the biggest esports tournament in Brunei. A $25,000 prize pool and a spot to show who was the best PUBG team in Brunei. But this year, we're about to go bigger. Welcome to the 𝗪𝗶𝗨𝗥 Series Season 1, where you will be given the chance to start your legacy as the first ever ACS champion. You wanted more games? You've got more games. PUBG, Valorant, and Mobile Legends Bang Bang. With 3 titles, we're looking for the next kings and queens of Brunei esports. This is your chance to show the whole of Brunei, no, the whole of Borneo, who's the champion, and a stake at a $27,500 prize pool. So what are you waiting for? A registration fee? I'll see you on the battlefield.
Yes, I've been back at it, on this music like a bad habit. I abuse it like a crack addict. I soak the beat and take a crack at it.
The Marines are killing them before they walk in. Be your champion.
That is it. TG has been called. DMC.
Last year, we set the stage for the biggest esports tournament in Brunei. A $25,000 prize pool and a spot to show who was the best PUBG team in Brunei. But this year, we're about to go bigger. Welcome to the 𝗪𝗶𝗶𝗥𝗶𝗳𝗁 Clash Series Season 1, where you will be given the chance to start your legacy as the first ever ACS champion. You wanted more games? You've got more games. PUBG, Valorant, and Mobile Legends Bang Bang. With 3 titles, we're looking for the next kings and queens of Brunei esports. This is your chance to show the whole of Brunei, no, the whole of Borneo, who's the champion, and a stake at a $27,500 prize pool. So what are you waiting for? A registration fee? I'll see you on the battlefield.
Yes, I've been back at it. On this music like a bad habit. I abuse it like a crack addict. I swoop the beat and take a crack at it.
Welcome back for the League of Legends Wild Rift Community Clash Season 2. My name is 𝗪𝗪𝗧 alongside Contra. And we have a bit of an announcement to make regarding the Brunei Qualifier Finals. Fortunately, due to some unforeseen circumstances, Dream Esports will win the series by default 2-0, and they will be the representatives to go up against Have Fun in the Grand Finals later on. So I think the stage is set for the Malaysia versus Brunei clash.
Yeah, that's right, and I honestly wish we actually get to see a little bit more of the action, but well, we just have to keep the suspense because up next is going to be a best of 5 instead. So let's see if we're going to get all 5 games, because it's just going to be pretty wild, I will tell you that.
Yeah, and you know, if there's any silver lining from this event, is that now even Have Fun have no idea what to expect coming out from Dream Esports community. We get a fairly clean slate. We get a very fresh start going into the best of 5 later on. I'm just excited to see what is going to unfold, especially when we've made so many discussions about the meta that Dream Esports might bring to the table. I think this is the best time for them to show their full hand and see if they can actually draw blood from Have Fun.
You know what's really interesting is due to the fact that, you know, most of the time that we see Southeast Asia tournaments happen and like they cover what you call main regions. Like, I feel Brunei definitely deserves a spot in the list where they could just basically do a merger with, who knows, upcoming season NYSGBN? That could happen.
Hopefully that happens, right? And we would have more teams playing. I think that's a great initiative to also get Brunei on the board with a lot of our initiatives. And this is where it starts, right? They've been here before. Well, they weren't really here last year, so having them in Season 2 is a good sign that we might see more of Brunei down the road. But with that being said, we're gonna keep you guys in suspense for a while. But just remember, coming up is the Grand Finals between Malaysia and Brunei, between Have Fun and Dream Esports. Do not go anywhere. We will return after this commercial break.
You know what?
The Marines are killing them before they walk in. Be your champion.
That is it. TG has been called. DMC.
Last year, we set the stage for the biggest esports tournament in Brunei. A $25,000 prize pool and a SWAT to show who was the best PUBG team in Brunei. But this year, we're about to go bigger. Welcome to the 𝗪𝗶𝗶𝗥𝗶𝗳𝗁 Clash Series Season 1, where you will be given the chance to start your legacy as the first ever ACS champion. You wanted more games? You've got more games. PUBG, Valorant, and Mobile Legends Bang Bang. With 3 titles, we're looking for the next kings and queens of Brunei esports. This is your chance to show the whole of Brunei, no, the whole of Borneo, who's the champion, and a stake at a $27,500 prize pool. So what are you waiting for? A registration fee? I'll see you on the battlefield.
Yes, I've been back at it. On this music like a bad habit. I abuse it like a crack addict. I swoop the beat and take a crack at it.
sobre la piel como besos en Ibiza. Besos en Ibiza. Besos en Ibiza. Cierra la puerta, acércate a mí y la verdad, deja ya de mentir, bésame lento, ¿qué quieres tú de mí? Déjame ir al sur y tus labios besar, sé muy bien que eres tú, ¿quién será mi final? ¿Quién será mi final? Toda tu luz mata mi oscuridad, dejas afuera toda la realidad y me arrepiento, guárdate la verdad. Déjame ir al sur y tus labios besar, sé muy bien que eres tú, ¿quién será mi final? ¿Quién será mi final?
You know what?
The Marines have killed them before they walk in. Be your champion.
That is it. TG has been called. DMC is out. Grand
Last year, we set the stage for the biggest esports tournament in Brunei. A $25,000 prize pool and a spot to show who was the best PUBG team in Brunei. But this year, we're about to go bigger. Welcome to the 𝗪𝗶𝗨 Series Season 1, where you will be given the chance to start your legacy as the first ever ACS champion. You wanted more games? You've got more games. PUBG, Valorant, and Mobile Legends Bang Bang. With 3 titles, we're looking for the next kings and queens of Brunei esports. This is your chance to show the whole of Brunei, no, the whole of Borneo, who's the champion, and a stake at a $27,500 prize pool. So what are you waiting for? A registration fee? I'll see you on the battlefield.
Yes, I've been back at it. On this music like a bad habit. I abuse it like a crack at it. I soak the beat and take a crack at it.
Welcome back, folks, to the League of Legends Wild Rift Community Clash Season 2. We're about to get ready for the grand finals between Malaysia and Brunei's representative. It's going to be Have Fun against Dream Esports. My name is 𝗪𝗪𝗧, and alongside me is 𝗪𝗁, and we're going into this pretty darn fresh without knowing much of the Brunei region.
Yeah, this is going to be a bag of surprises for the Malaysian side because these two sides may not have yet met in a professional setting, or should I actually say community tournament setting, because some of these guys have not gone towards professional tournaments as compared to, you know, guys from just Have Fun. Like, overall, I think they have a lot of the renowned players in the local scene of Malaysia. As for Brunei, of course, they weren't in part of WCS, but I hope one day, one fine day, they'll have either a WCS of their own, or they could basically join together to bond with the rest of the region.
Absolutely, and of course we didn't get to witness, you know, the Brunei qualifiers because they did play off broadcast yesterday, and unfortunately we didn't get to see the finals of the qualifiers due to unforeseen circumstances. But nonetheless, it's still going to be a lot of surprises because we're jumping into the draft for Game 1 of this grand finals, and this will be a best of 5. So it is all about their long marathon. Let's see what the teams have in mind for those bans.
That's right, and as we start off here, they're going to be going in for a Diana ban. I guess that they've seen a few out of that, but then again, it wasn't exactly what was being picked by, say, mid-gap overall, but I believe there was also a lot of flashy plays. Diana, she's dealing a whole lot of damage. She's also somewhat tanky. I think like this is one champion that not many really wants to deal with. Now, pretty standard stuff that we're seeing here from Have Fun. This time around, it's interesting to also note that they banned out a Ziggs as well as a Camille. Not something that we've seen that much frequently here in the community clash.
Especially the Ziggs, right? Because it definitely isn't
fallen out of favor for a little.
Yeah, I would say for even the local region, it's not really what people want to go for. Because who doesn't feel as flashy, right? You just toss bombs and might as well pick an ADC that can actually carry. But that's the carry mentality. Jay's first pick for Have Fun, and we see an instant Lulu Lucian bot lane kind of revealed by the side of Dream Esports. But this Lucian can still be a flex.
Yeah, overall, you could still send him in the jungle. He still has decent clear speed overall, though. I wonder, like, I really forgot about the patches if he does less damage to monsters instead. But I really did get that sort of nerf. But despite that, still pretty much efficient overall. Well, I think we've seen Chisenex flexing a whole lot of wins as he tweeted it out. So I wonder.
His secondary jungler, right? He went from Jax, and Irelia was the next. I think he played some Lee Sin. So that's something I admire Irelia players a lot, because I don't think I can do that. Yeah. I don't think I can be that agile.
I'm not that quick on my fingers, and even so, like sometimes like you know, you were so trigger happy you end up dashing to the wrong direction. That can happen too.
I do that a lot on Kha'Zix, right? Sometimes like instead of trying to leap away, I tap in instead, so I just leap into my death. It happens every once in a while. Or Orianna is a pick that we don't get to see often, but
And same goes to the Cinch,
Same goes
which
to the
we
Cinch.
are finally getting it.
I think we had a cinch yesterday. Was it played by? Not sure if it was played by Have Fun. I felt like it was. It's either Have Fun or Underage. But we did see like one
yes,
cinch pick.
we did see it, and I remember like they were all chasing it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's the same
But-
cinch pick.
It's gonna be a mid cinch, I believe.
Wait, hold on. Is this a Nunu top?
It's hard to tell for now. So
I hope not. I mean, I see.
actually, yes.
Yeah,
Nunu's
I
top.
mean, Jarvan is the one with the smite, right? So we get a Riven. This is probably a Riven's Baron lane into it. So
Unless you
Nunu,
tell me Nunu mid, is he trying to impress me or something?
I feel like Nunu mid would make a bit of sense, right? To justify this, I think Nunu mid could make some sense, but then you have this Lucian top and a Orianna Lulu bot, which feels a bit weird. I feel like this is most like a Nunu top. Though Nunu mid would sound cool because you get access to the side lanes, you can control Scuttle better. We'll just see how it pans out. This game one is already setting up to be pretty, unpredictable.
Yeah, pretty spicy, I would say. And that bunch of crowd control that we're seeing from Dream Esports could possibly book them the ticket for game one as they beeline their way over onto the Riverside. Possibly going for a level 1 invade. Just look at that potential payoff that could actually come out. Gets spotted by a ward, unfortunately.
It's okay, it's some experience for all of them. For I think 4 of them. We're missing out on the Rainbow Trail. Something that I think the Brunei region has over us. It's pretty,
Do they?
yeah, they do. We do not, the trail the home guard trail.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't have the recent one.
Yeah,
the recent
I'm kind of
event.
jealous though.
Yeah, I'm kind of jealous. Sometimes you just can't have nice things.
Yeah, and overall, like, it's not all the way too bad. I mean, we got a bunch of other events coming up as well. Oh boy,
Gangs.
Coffee.
Evolution did not expect this. And Coffee is not in a good spot. Pops the barrier. He has the volley and is still going to get the kill, but it was the first blood up top. Papa, the solo kills. Late for Scrim. On that Nunu top and Coffee. What are you doing?
Goes down.
Goes down to the Lucian and what they want to look for Evolution and Z just flashes forward for the kill. Takes the hammer in the face. Has the barrier. Tries to retaliate but goes down to the cannon form. Shock blast. Flash. Double kill for ASD.
Well, oh well, in the blink of an eye. Look at that, Husky. 1 minute of play. 6 total eliminations have happened throughout this matchup. Man, you talk about surprises. They're bringing it to the table. They bring the pain to Coffee. And my oh my, they finally met their match.
Yeah, we saw Godfather Uzi and we were expecting 2 aggressive Dragon Laners. You want to go head to head. You want to force the fight. They didn't do that. But Dream Esports came in and they were like, I don't care if you're a rank 1 and 2 account, like who cares, right? It's not a solo game. We're gonna run at you with a level 2 gang, we cheat the jungle timing, and Slash is doing so much work, and I think they also caught ASD who just got a double kill early on. They shut down the Jace, and Papa Days, he's gonna be set alight by the Ignite, doesn't have to consume, but late for Scream again, couldn't finish the job, goes in for the Valor, but Papa Days actually gets the Honey Fruit, even gets the root, and goes to the biggest snowball ever, goes down in a solo kill, but it's a pretty close fight up top.
Wow. Every coverage of all these fights were nail biters. Everybody's HP bars were as thin as a hair. Well, is there a better way to describe it though? Like, you saw the amount of plays that we're trying to make, like the final minute and 2 that almost brought the kill back, and then the river turns back to the turret range.
Yep.
Imagine getting targeted by the turret. He took that risk. And late for Scrim. He's like, yep, it's all in the day's work.
Yeah, and that's kind of like a 1-for-1 trade, right, with the Ignite in his favor. In fact, I just like this fearless play. Evolution couldn't complete his recall. He's now going to take the culling, the full brunt of it. And that's the free pickoff for Z. And I just like the fact that, Dream Esports are playing without fear. Sure, we can say that you're going up against a very strong team. You got to give them some respect. But giving them respect is also means that you got to take those chances.
Respect has to be earned.
Respect has to be earned. And they're making Have Fun work for it. Though, 𝗵𝗂𝗍𝗪 knows that he's in danger, but backup isn't coming anytime soon. So this Nunu might go down to this collapse.
Yeah, and overall, I remember playing up against Humble Diligent on easy days, but it's gonna be in for days. Well, 𝗵𝗂𝗍𝗪.
Oh boy.
Sends me on the days too.
Yeah, it's kind of what you kind of expect from a Nunu top, I suppose. Not much that can be done. Probably going to build into those tank items. Just there to hold the lane for a while. That solo kill early on, that first split did give him a bit of a leverage, but now he has to be a bit more careful when this Riven and Jay start getting a bit more resources. And even then, now we see a dead even net worth for both teams.
Yeah, I guess the disadvantage here, if you were to go up against a Cinch, it's actually a better matchup where you could still have a little space, safe space to farm. As compared to facing off against a Riven, you can't really step close and you have to rely on TC, but here comes Tidal Wave hitting on the tree.
And it's going to be a shockwave into calling again. Evolution flash away. 𝗏𝗏𝗧 forced to tank it, but thankfully they have the shock blast and it will be a flash forward. Exhaust on that JZ tries to relentless pursue the wave, but gets burned down by the dot, and it will still be a spacebar killer getting the kill back. Does have the command attack. Red buff and spacebar killer finds the double.
Time to check the scores. Bring up the scoreboard as well as the items, because I want to see how much they've got right here. 4 takedowns by ASD. Same goes to Z, who's working so hard for these numbers and going up against 𝗏𝗏𝗧. Like, sure, like he managed to even up whatever his KDA was,
Yeah.
but that's not what we were actually expecting out of this. So Z, this guy, who's gonna get more out of this though.
He has the highest net worth right now on the entire map. And the fact that, this is probably one of the games where we see 𝗏𝗏𝗧 struggle a bit early on, and in fact, Dream Esports, they're already there at the objective. It seems like have fun, they want to contest it, absolutely zero use. Late for clear straight into the back line, but gets blown up by the Lulu. Slash will give his life away, and who will get the Rift Arrow? It seems like that is going to go the way of Dream Esports. Nonetheless, it will be mid-gap trying to go for the rundown. The shockwave completely misses. Number Diligent, it will take down to the poison. At the end of that, it will be an ace for Have Fun.
Well, it's a little bit of a topsy-turvy right that we have here. Like, the fights are happening all over the screen. But overall, in terms of team fighting, I think that most of the players of Have Fun, they've got it under control. They may have actually lost a Herald, but all these sort of fights have gotten them at least decent amount of gold back in favor. But now, the Dragon is being left up in the open, and the Brunei play what's theirs.
And I love the decision making, just swift decision making from Dream Esports. They pull the trigger and they commit to the plan, and sure, they did get ace, but it doesn't put them too far back behind. 4,000 gold disadvantage. They still have someone that has that, that enough capacity to carry the team, right? We're looking at Z right now, who had an amazing start in the Dragon lane. And he did went down just now, but even so, I believe that they can't put their hopes on him. They also have this Orianna, good in team fight, getting ganked mid. The redemption will not connect, and he gets run down.
Yeah, really tough luck right there. As an Orianna, once you meet up with a Cinch, honestly, you're just a sitting duck, because all you have to do is just get yourself speed up, and you're just going to be wasting a whole lot of mana, and he's already building into the Archangel staff. So, some may think that, hey, it's already 7 minutes, it's a little late, but I still think that it's the standard sort of build that we're getting from Orianna as compared to all the other items that's still available. Make that though, they'll turn it around.
He does get the flip off, and that is not good for Z. He does have the wild growth and the barrier. They use the Cataclysm to flash to keep him alive. A hammer down, as Z will not be able to get the good culling. The Slash now forced to run away. They do have the Enchanted Crystal Arrow from 𝗏𝗏𝗧, though. Spacebar Killer is going to be nearby. Humble Diligent goes back in, does get the help pick. A lot of poke. The arrow actually connects onto Slash as 𝗏𝗏𝗧 sends it from downtown, and now they're throwing the tidal wave for the disengage. As Have Fun wins that skirmish.
My oh my, he landed it perfectly without vision under turret. Just a stroke of great luck out there to take down Slash. And just looking into builds, we're looking at a second item, i.e. completed for Z. Though that was a really risky move, we were expecting basically the additive to be right under the turret, and he got in range. So the good note is that Z, he understood what was his limits. He didn't really burn a flash right there and then.
So he still has the flash to work with, but again, you don't want to be flipped. Even though when you have all the shields, all the protection, it's not going to be getting a 4-man key strike. They try to go for disengage, a shockwave on the tree. Somehow they make it out alive, but it's going to be 𝗪𝗶𝗹𝗱 in the backline, and everyone just takes down to the poison. How much more can he do? He wants 𝗪𝗶𝗪𝗁, but 𝗪𝗶𝗪𝗁 will strike right back. Unfortunately, for the side of Dream Esports, they could not fight anymore. A shock blast to finish off the Lulu, and 𝗵𝗛𝗏 𝗥𝗏𝗧𝗏 is going to be next on the chopping block. His Thunder Vision has the command protect, but he has ran out of mana, and ASD will let him taste the hammer. 4 for Have Fun.
And this is Have Fun here, thriving in all of that chaos. And we saw 𝗪𝗏𝗪, if he had a little bit more AP, he might have even pent-died.
If he had the lead entries, everyone would have died.
Because he was running out there with very low health. Like, yeah, Lion Dreams wasn't really completed, but still a valiant attempt overall. We saw it's going to be Dream Esports constantly fighting fire with fire, but the light's dimming out really soon. Now, I wonder, hitting into its late game, you know, Lucian has a cap.
Yeah.
Orianna will still be pretty decent. This Nunu is going to be exactly the same as the Jarvan. They're just going to be crowd control machine.
Arrow forcing out the flash from Z. 𝗪𝗶𝗪𝗁 next on the chopping block. 𝗪𝗏𝗪's going to eat the full culling. They lose the Lulu, but Z gets the counter kill. So it's not all done just yet, but late for Scrim once more on the flank. Just lets him eat the wind slash, and this is all the Riven show as ASD also chimes in. A double kill for Coffee, and another ace for Have Fun.
Well, this is reminiscent of what we've seen yesterday, though. Those Riven plays, picture perfect, as they have got at least backup plans coming in for Have Fun. Now they have the Rift Herald, not needing a charge on T2, but this will hit the inhibitor instead. With the timers already coming off, I think that there's still a little bit more time to defend that Nexus, but in the blink of an eye, 10 minutes of play. Look at how explosive this is. 33 kills. I haven't seen this in a while.
Now the big problem is no one is going to be able to stop this Riven. Hullbreaker, Black Cleaver is probably going to go for the Death Dance next. And this is the kind of Riven play that I love to see. You can't get enough of it. There's so much mobility and just the amount of damage. Those engages from late for Scrim has been instrumental in them winning the 2 major team fights in this game. And in fact, now with the system of the arrow, it lands onto the most crucial target. 𝗵𝗛𝗏𝗪𝗁 has the Archangel pop, but it doesn't matter as late for Scrim cleans him out, splashes. Cataclysm runs out onto ASD. They finally take out the Riven, but there is not enough resources. Z wasn't even in the fight, and 𝗪𝗶𝗪𝗁 has to turn tail and run. Have Fun with 3 kills.
Wow, just the exchanges, everything was so well planned from either side. Like, they got that huge shutdown goal onto late for Scrim. That's fine. They're going for another exchange to take out the Jarvan, and at the end of the day, it's just better trades overall for Have Fun. But this game honestly won't be over just yet. Like, sure, you may have seen it's about 11k or less of a difference in terms of goal. Just having one good team fight could easily flip the switch back. Though they just need to ensure that they get a little bit more of a better map control, because overall they can fight.
Yeah, and we're just waiting for the GA to finally be completed by Slash. As the game progresses, we're looking at only 2 champions, Orianna and Lucian, kind of be the main damage dealer. And they will have a lot of weight on the back. You know, considering the game state right now, I mean, Have Fun is leaps and bounds ahead. We are, less than a minute before the Baron spawns. We see the arrow send down bot, actually lands onto Slash. But he should be able to flag and drag out of this. So flash from late from screen just to go onto him. No Proto Bell to follow up. And that means his Jarvan gets out.
Yeah. Not too sure if the flag and drag was used much early on, but it was safe for the very moment. So, coast is clear. So the next objective spawns about 20 seconds from now. Baron will be left available. And keep in mind, when you do have a Nunu on your side of the team, and if he reveals AP, that consumes going to be essentially a smite.
And now it's going to be a Cataclysm. The Hideaway has already been used. They pop the lock as well. Mid get trapped in. Pull back with a shockwave, but still runs up with his life. And it's going to be ASD that goes godlike. And now he jumps in with the 2 to the sky, gets a full combo up, and Proto Bell to safety. Coffee will take over the rest of the cleanup job. And this time, Dream Esports will lose another fight. The arrow sent out lands on the 𝗵𝗛𝗪𝗁. They don't have the damage, but Have Fun takes 4 anyways.
You know, in all those movies when the villain goes to slay everybody and he leaves one, it's like, this is so you can tell the tale. Tell the rest of them. And it's Coffee sending the message right there and then. But then again, I just made it sound cool. He just had not enough HP was to go for the dive. Anyways, back in towards the drawing board. I think things look really, really good for Dream Esports in the early game. After a couple of fights, I think they're starting to wear out and they know that there's a certain cap and they gotta start prioritizing on those targets. If you can't find Coffee, who's next though?
They definitely struggled a bit with the team fighting. And 𝗪𝗶𝗹 once more runs away. Could it be another Penta? It seems like that's gonna be the case. ASD, did he just steal one away? It seems like he didn't know Penta for Coffee this time. But the main objective is to take down Dream Esports, and regardless of who gets the kill, Have Fun is just running down all lanes.
Man, all speed ahead. We're already seeing all of them focusing on to the remaining turrets. 𝗪𝗶𝗹𝗱, Have Fun. Having that whole breaker on late for Stream, he's going for a dive.
And he's probably gonna kill both of them. 𝗪𝗀 backwards. Yeah, Humble Diligent, yeah, walk away with your life. Your carry is already dead. The rest of Have Fun, they have just broken through the entire base of Dream Esports. Just leaving that Nexus up, you know, they don't need to take any risk. This game has already been sealed and it's just slow burn for Dream Esports.
You know, this is the first game between the two of them. And those amount of eliminations that we have overall in this game one made us felt like it was already past 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's
like, it's the inhibitors coming down, but hey, it's just 15.
With an average of 3 kills per minute, you know, 45 kills in 15 minutes, and even a Baron steal right now would not save Dream Esports. It will prolong their suffering, but it definitely will not save them. In fact, we are seeing a near perfect macro game from Have Fun, where they have not lost a single turret.
Yeah, overall, the Nunu may have actually built more onto the armory side of things, but then again, it didn't seem like he could possibly soak up all too much because the sort of bursts as well as the DPS coming out of Coffee, ASD, it's a little bit too much. Now they get spotted out by the blast.
And Z, he's gonna take everything in the face. The exhaust, shockwave, cataclysm, knockout, and lethal skill still flashes away. 𝗪𝗶𝗹 will do the same. While that was happening, Baron Nashor has already been stolen. The arrow flies through. Flash must use his body to block those shots, but they still could not protect the Orianna. And unfortunately, this is going to be game one, going the way of Have Fun. Dream Esports have nothing left in the tank, as we see Have Fun completely demolish this game number one in the grand final.
Here we go, game one going over to Have Fun. But hey, this is a best of 5. It's all about stamina and who has all the energy to run their way into the very end. Speaking of which, of course, we saw all these explosive fights from minute 1 onwards. We have like, what, 1 minute? 6 deaths.
Yes, 6 kills, and it's a Nunu solo killing a Riven. It's all these early movements. I'm loving what Dream Esports are doing. They're reading the movements of Have Fun correctly, and they're also not afraid to take those fights straight to Have Fun.
Yeah, like, it really felt like a boxing match where, you know, round 1, everybody is fully pumped, energetic, and then, like, you see the energy runs low on the other guys, like, okay, I could still get hit stun. Maybe not as impactful that it was supposed to be, but, like, ding, 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 that was round 1. Round 1 won over by the MY side. Brunei still has so much to offer. Dream Esports. I'm pretty convinced that this team can go really far, so long as they continue to train together. So this is sort of, you know, possibly an era for them.
Yeah, this is kind of like the litmus test, right? The testing grounds for Dream Esports. I mean, we were looking at 𝗪𝗀, not a champion that doesn't get picked almost any in any situation.
You're talking about the 𝗪𝗀, but I'm more baffled by the Nunu top pick.
And the Nunu top, right? So I think these two champions are definitely kind of like the standouts, especially the Nunu top for Dream Esports. And even then, they had some moments where they made it work, right? You can clearly see that they had played with this composition before. Now, game 1, completely shut down by Have Fun. Let's see what Dream Esports has to bring in for game 2.
Yeah, overall, I am absolutely impressed by the huge plays that we've witnessed coming out of the Lucian player early on, Z, definitely have dished out significant amount of damage that you just gotta respect this guy. Like, if his Lucian is this good, imagine what he could do with even more aggressive champions.
We're gonna find out in game number 2. Let's jump right into the draft. And for me right now, I think that, maybe for Dream Esports, polish up the draft a bit, right? Give yourself a stronger jungler and better laner, because all the other lanes are doing fantastic, right? Give them a Shen, something like a 𝗁𝗂𝗧, something that can be active in the jungle. I think that would definitely serve them well in the long run. But aside from that, just bring the fight straight to have fun. You know you can win it. You just gotta do it more consistently.
Yeah, overall, I don't want to see them backing down here in the next draft. Like, sure, you can pick something that's overall balanced and not limiting it to ultra aggression of, maybe double assassins or so. Like, they're still going to be able to go in with very similar bans this time around. The Ashe will not be left available, as they've already set 2 targets onto 𝗏𝗄's champion pool. Meanwhile, we see Olaf being axed away, so you could definitely tell that you're going to load it up with a huge crowd control, while we have 2 Yordles joining to the side of Have Fun, Tristana and Lulu.
Another one of 𝗏𝗄's most proficient pick, the Tristana. I remember that screenshot with almost 30 kills and 0 deaths. Yeah, that's 𝗏𝗄 in a nutshell. But we get the Vi and the Nami picked up again for Dream Esports, and with the Singe, it definitely does give them a way to gap close to Tristana, especially when she does not have the Buster Shot or the Flash. So there are some avenues, and even then you have the cease and desist from Vi to get on top of these far target, which is why we see the brick wall being built by Have Fun right now with the Renekton and Shen.
Now we're seeing both a Shen as well as Renekton, so I'm assuming that this Renekton will hit up over mid lane. So want to see the sort of response out of Dream Esports. Spacebar Killer opting for the Akshan, which still has very decent zone control at the very least in the very early levels, but once you hit level 3, watch out for that slice and dice. You could easily come right in. Imagine the Renekton paired with a Shen all together with Stand United. This is going to be a huge recipe for team fights overall. Well, we're seeing the Sins out to complete the entirety of what the side of Have Fun wants to achieve.
Yeah, we are also witnessing Have Fun going for a more in-your-face lineup, whereas for Dream Esports, it's about the side lanes, it's about that early to mid game. Utilize the Vi, the Akshan, and the Lucian, especially the Akshan. We know that the Spacebar Killer can get some revenge kill off on the Scoundrels. From the side of Have Fun, you can turn the fight around just by reviving your teammates. But getting that off is going to be the hard part. And I'm excited for Game 2 because Dream Esports are bringing out a completely different draft.
Yeah, overall, I think that there is a little bit of slight complexity on what Dream Esports really want to achieve here. You gotta land those perfect bubbles onto the enemy side, which honestly is not all too easy to do. Look at them, most of them have a little bit of dash in them. Well, discounting the Lulu, of course. Yeah. She's gonna be immobile. But you're gonna face 𝗏𝗂𝗧 if you walk up front.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's gonna jump into game number 2 of this grand finals. So far, lap number 1 has gone in favor of Have Fun. They are very well in the lead, and we see this early attempt from 𝗏𝗄 and Evolution. Again, trying to get some crux to give themselves that lane pressure that they have done earlier on in that Malaysia finals. And this is kind of the opening that they have been defaulting to. And unfortunately for Dream Esports, they will not spot this. And it's Tristana, so you can easily blow up the crux and take those resources away.
Oh boy, they're gonna be taking a very different route from here onwards. Again, Z resets it, it's gonna be good. Oh, there we go, first blood in favor of the MY side.
Yeah, 𝗏𝗂𝗧, how he wishes he has an Ignite. But unfortunately, it's a Singe, and he trying to 1 versus 1. A Shen for Ignite is not really the brightest idea, but A for effort. But now with the Shen getting that first blood, you're gonna put yourself in a disadvantaged position. So we'll see if Z can continue putting on the pressure. I mean, I say that 𝗏𝗂𝗧 has somehow pushed late for Scream back, but only for temporarily. 𝗏𝗄, meanwhile, trading back with both Z and Humble Diligent.
Yeah, overall, when you take a look at economics, where if you get those kills onto the Singe, he's not going to be all too worried. Like, we heard of Proxy Cinch and Hold, right?
Yeah.
And you can just basically run it out, but mid lane though, betrays.
Ignite, 𝗖𝗺 𝗪𝗂, keep your distance, heroic swing away, flashback forward, mid-gap tries to go for it, but the Avenger rank clips in on the edge as they try to gank 𝗵𝗂𝗪𝗀, but 𝗵𝗂𝗪𝗀's averse disaster 1v2.
That Avenger rank, the secondary damage from that return boomerang has gotten the numbers back. But look at how quick he does it though.
I think he procced the passive shield as well, and no slash. He has the flash and he's thinking about it. No need to go for the kill, no need for overcommitment. ASW is coming down bot, so the rest of Dream Esports, they're gonna try and get away. Slash is thinking about going to 𝗏𝗏. 𝗏𝗏 just waiting for it. He knows he has the spells to get away, but Slash has to go over it, and of course the red buff finishes him off. They try to at least get a trade back. ASD will get the kill, but they've already lost Evolution, and it's now between Illusion and a Xin Zhao. Wind becomes lightning. She props the barrier, goes into the brush, flashes away from Counter Ming, but burns to the red buff instead.
Oh, tough luck right there. He's got the double buff going on. He's going nowhere with that. Even with the flash, I think that his out would have guided eventually. But overall, great team fighting that we're seeing from Dream Esports. Sure, they may have actually had another member go down. It's the enactment of Game 1 all over again.
Yep.
Here in Game 2. And I'm happily taking this one in.
And this time the Shen still has the flash, gets to ignite the 𝗵𝗂𝗪𝗀, but cease and desist is there. And the one last auto attack from Humble Diligent finds the kill, and that means that right now Dream Esports gets a bit of pressure up top.
Yeah, well, good pickoffs overall, as you've already seen that late for Scrim has been playing a little bit more aggro once that wave hits the turret range, and it was trying to catch a Cinch. So this time, he's been able to bait the guy who likes to, you know, go in for those sort of taunts.
Yep.
Now, rotations looking fine overall, matching up to speed of what members of 𝗏𝗏 wants to do. They're ready for that Herald whenever it spawns up. It's still gonna take a little while though. Now that the Akshan's over the bottom side, remember this, he can also build a hull breaker with him if he really wants to.
And it's very hard to get on top of him because he has a passive shield. He has he has pro movement speed with his skills, and also he has a heroic swing to always get away. 𝗵𝗂𝗪𝗀 will struggle a bit against late for Scrim because he is building into a Divine Sundra, and those passive damage does make life a bit hard for the Cinch. But like you said, Cinch doesn't really care too much. He's just gonna keep side laning. Instead, he's gonna take a Shadow Dash in the face once more. This time ASD shows up, they are ready for the dive, and 𝗵𝗂𝗪𝗀 needs to be very diligent with this. Slash is coming up top, so all 𝗵𝗂𝗪𝗀 needs to do is to not get engaged on.
I think he has a little bit of a slight glimpse of feel to it, but then again, they have
vision. They go into a taunt, they actually kill off late for Scrim, and I think Slash cannot take this fight, unfortunately. Wind becomes lightning, audacious charge into a challenger's smite. Slash gets away with a sliver of health, and ASD also gets out.
Wow, oh well, that crescent sweep though was perfectly put into place where you see him knocking back the Vine. Overall, just one more touch would have actually done the trade, but now they're both dead even, but in terms of gold though, this is Dream Esports having slight leads available, gets the catch as well.
Tidal Wave Z wants the kill, forcing out the flash and the dominance from mid-gap. So much resources expended from this Renekton. ASD is coming in, Wind becomes lightning into a flash. It's gonna be a kill for Z, he's gonna commit to the kill, but unfortunately, guess who's here? It's Slash with the flash Vault Breaker, and this time they punish the Xin Zhao.
Well, it's both the junglers really doing heavy work throughout the game. Spaceport Killer has to back away. They're trying to get this Cloud Break very quickly. Here it comes.
Oh. Mid-gap exhausted, no dominance though. And the comeuppance is more than sufficient. 𝗵𝗂𝗪𝗀 is also here. 𝗏𝗏, you gotta get out on the Mega. Desis flip back, actually saves him. But Evolution, he's gonna turn 𝗏𝗏 Killer into a critter, sees and desist into a Vault Breaker. They get them. Someone the Wild Growth to save 𝗏𝗏. 𝗏𝗏 flashes forward. He wants Baseball Killer, gets the kill. Reset, jumps away, and ASD with the Wind becomes lightning. Kills off the Cinch. 2 for the side of 𝗏𝗏.
My word. I'm just trying to recollect my thoughts because too much has been going on. Humble Vision looking for a solo takedown. No ADC with him though. 𝗪𝗶𝗳𝗁 almost got that one in the bag. A little bit of worries for some of these members out there. 𝗏𝗶𝗳 walks away with his life, but then again, we still have the 𝗪𝗏𝗧 here. Tempted by the rest of Have Fun. They get this one for free. After commotion after commotion, take a look at the goal amount. This Lucian, once again, much richer than 𝗏𝗶𝗳.
So much richer. And this time 𝗵𝗏𝗃 has the ward, so he knows that Slash is nearby. He still wants to protect the turret, but I don't think he can do so though. He's gonna try to at least kill off 𝗪𝗏𝗧𝗁, but he might give up his life in the process as 𝗵𝗏𝗧 continues to defend that top turret with the Rhino's Crystal Scepter. Just get a flip onto 𝗪𝗏𝗧𝗏. 𝗪𝗏𝗧𝗏 is grounded, slow down, still goes down. 𝗵𝗏𝗧𝗁 with the outplay.
Whoa. I didn't really expect him to really turn that around. Sure, he loses the turret, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be pretty proud of that play as he's just getting chased upon on. Now, looking for equal trades as well. You can see that they did a lot of hard shelf over on the bottom lane instead. Now, overall, with that Herald that needs to be dealt with, I think it should be absolutely cleared off. Won't be hitting the tier 2 for now. So, in terms of all these sort of trades that they've been doing, 𝗏𝗶𝗳 just needs to find a way to ramp up. If they do get space kill, it's gonna be good.
Oh, they run straight into a Xin Zhao with the present sweep. It's gonna negate some of that damage. Season Desist comes in. They actually want to take this fight. Volt Breaker to knock Evolution back. Wild Growth just to keep the Xin Zhao alive, but they have done it. 𝗵𝗏𝗃 now shows up, but he's in the middle of everyone. And Slash gets a double kill. The heroic swing forward to give the Akshan one the comeuppance released early. No kills for the Akshan, but it's 3 for Dream Esports.
Well, if he actually charged it a few seconds later on, he's definitely getting one in the bag, but they were not risking any members trying to hunt right behind that turret range. So it's still good on them. They get to siege that mid lane turret while they also claim one over top side. All tier 1s are already being opened up. So this is just going to be a springing for Dream Esports. Well, you're taking a look at this Renekton going 0-4-0. This is the first time that 𝗵𝗏𝗃 is getting gapped.
Yeah, and in fact, it all started from that one solo kill, right? Like, Spacebar Kid is playing with absolute bravado. Now he just runs up to the Renekton, swings into his face, and 𝗵𝗏𝗃 is the one running away. First time, just like you said. In fact, first time Dream Esports has a substantial lead in the series.
Yeah, overall, like, you know, it's only these two teams that have gotten us spitting fire on the mic. But here's another one.
Yeah, they actually spot out the Akshan, so very great kill. Unfortunately, he had to burn his flash and still went down. Couldn't go for the heroic swing. But now it seems like they actually still want to take this fight. I mean, these guys are absolutely fearless. Straight to the backline with a tidal wave. They take out the Lulu. ASD gets the return kill, but 𝗏𝗶𝗳 is around, so means the reset is going to come through. 𝗪𝗏𝗧𝗁, can you stay alive? So far, the answer is yes. 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗁 actually goes back for a fling, takes the taunt, ends up throwing his life away, but 𝗪𝗏𝗧𝗁 couldn't get the ebb and flow, has no vision. He needs a bit more of the damage, but it will be ASD trading that back.
Z's
that
here.
is going to set up for Z. The taunt does not matter. Lucian gets a double.
Hands down, the best ever series, fitting of a grand finals. Just give me more Dream Esports, man. Like, I would back them up and say, you can come into the WCS NYSG anytime.
Yeah, and I don't think other teams might stand much of a chance. Though 𝗏𝗏𝗃 walks away with his life, and thankfully his teammates are there, so Spacebar Killer can't get the revive. And 𝗵𝗏𝗃 was able to finish the Akshan off just for good measures. 30 seconds until the Inferno Drake spawns. I mean, Dream Esports will be back up in time, but Have Fun are slowly closing the gap.
Now, with the Herald up and available, if they really want it, they have to clear it really quickly, because within 15 seconds, that's where the Infernal Drake is being spawned up. You know, both sides really want to secure that just to get that burst of damage. But look at what's here.
They try to go for the steal, they don't find it. Best Slash needs to go away. 𝗏𝗏𝗃 is left all alone. A good Aqua Prison for the disengage. 𝗪𝗏𝗧𝗁, you gotta move by now. A good knockout from 3 China Sprite. Unfortunately, Tidal Wave only hits on the evolution. 𝗏𝗏𝗃 wants to re-engage, but they actually don't have the health. So the Honey Fruit will help them, will keep them alive for now. They still have to worry about the Shen stand united.
Yeah, and speaking of the Shen, late for Scrim, he's already securing one turret of his own. So essentially, they got what they needed, the Herald, and also even more out of that. Now working towards the Drake.
Oh, Coffee lands a full combo. Doesn't kill off Z. Stand United use and now leave for Scrim. Misses the taunt. 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏. It's a bit short. They did force the recall from Z, but for Dream Esports, they stopped this Dragon attempt, at least for now.
Great trigger discipline as well. You saw how they pulled back. They definitely expected the taunt to come right in. Absolutely dodges it, and that definitely forced a reset. But now, we'll see if Slash can get this one for free.
They're under vision. They see mid-gap. He's going to be the cutoff point. 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏 goes in, flings the Shadow away. They cannot get the Dragon, though. It was the ASD securing that, but the fight is going to break out right now. 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏 is already dead. Slash is next to follow, and late for Scream is just going to frontline this. Coffee goes berserk once more. And this fight is done and dusted. Dream Esports cannot take this, and they run.
Yeah, overall, this is that turning point that members of Have Fun are finally getting it after blood, sweat, and tears. That Herald onwards didn't really mean all too much until they got this Infernal Drake. You saw that overwhelming burst of damage that was being offered up. Sure, they get that inhib, but they can't get more than that.
You know what? And the worry now begins. How can Dream Esports start transitioning from this late phase of the mid game to the eventual late game? Right? They have again. It's about the Lucian. It's about the Akshan. Vi is gonna start falling off. Sinch is gonna start falling off. We're back to the state of game 1, where it doesn't really matter what has happened because Have Fun just has a better scaling towards the late game.
Yeah, overall, it's gonna get much tougher as the timer runs into later stages a bit. So all they could possibly do is just shove waves from all directions and hope that they won't be able to get anywhere close to attempting that Baron over on their side. So honestly, they could still catch up despite losing that fight. Take a look at that. It was only about 4,000. Deficit, which they can recover from one good fight. So they have to first find a way to get Xin Zhao out of the way, because that Crescent Sweep is going to deny them a whole lot of damage.
And they have to worry about the Renekton, who was able to recover after a very slow start. And most important of all, the Shen Stand United. Oh, they found ASD. Fling him back away from the Blast Cone. That's the target that you want to go down. The exhaust in the 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏 doesn't connect. But they had to force him to use the Crescent Sweep. And while all of that was happening, Lace for Scrim is pushing bot.
Yeah, they just really have to deal with the side wave pressure as well. So they're basically returning home as soon as they can. They don't really have all too much to work with. Eventually, late for Scrim will be able to secure this one. But then again, no more millions to work with. He has to back away as 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏 has arrived to the scene. So far, still looking to be very much achievable if a Dream Esports gets all the waves pushed out, and now they're trying to establish a little bit more vision control. They have a deep ward into their side, so they can spot out the members of Have Fun.
And ASD has no flash this time. They really want him dead. No flash, no Crescent Sweep redemption. Can he drop in time? No, he cannot. But watch out for Coffee again. He just got the reset, and he's going in for more. Flashes forward. Both of the explosive charge. 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏, surely he's not going to get out of this. And it will be a double for Coffee. Z will be forced to flash, and it's 3 for Have Fun.
Yeah, and that's the difference that Ashen brings to the table once again. And speak of the devil!
Coffee gets a triple. And this game might have suddenly just ended for Dream Esports unless they can kill the Scoundrel. But Coffee, yeah, call me a Scoundrel, I'll stand in front of you. They surrender that to mid-gap. And with this TP coming in, the game would definitely end. And despite of all the efforts, Have Fun still proves that they can turn a fight around. And this game 2 goes to them. They are at series point.
Man, now they would be mortal enemies from here onwards. It's 2 points, definitely in the bag, and they just need one more to take this whole championship for MY's sake. But just look at how well the Bruneians have done throughout the past 2 games. It didn't feel like it was a deserving loss after all, because they fought extremely hard in both of these matches, and this comes even closer. It was down to that Infernal contest, which kind of fell out of favor as they did not have any form of control over on the bottom side of the river.
They made Coffee and Co actually had to work for a win. I think that's something that a lot of teams prior to this have not been able to achieve. It was just have fun walking over them, picking out goofy picks like a 𝗪𝗂 AD, 𝗪𝗂 for coffee. But this game was completely different. This series in total so far leading up to this point, it was Dream Esports forcing Have Fun to play their best, because Dream Esports has shown us that they also know how to bring the fight to Have Fun, right? I felt like there were moments where they really caught Have Fun off guard.
Yeah, overall, like, I'm glad that I get to cast this match with you, Husky. Like, we were left with a huge question to be answered, like, how good is teams that are hailing out of Brunei doing? And if you're talking about Dream Esports pushing these guys who have wealth of experiences of tournaments to really nail-biting finishes, I would say that if they will have more opportunities out there, they're going to go extremely far with that level of professionalism being displayed overall in that past match.
Yeah, I mean, watch out NY teams, because I think Dream Esports has a lot to prove. But now they are one game away from losing this grand finals, and you
gotta treat it as the best of one.
Gotta treat it as the best of one game at a time, right? We have seen reverse sweeps before, and this would be probably the biggest accomplishment for any team, at least for Dream Esports, if they can, at least take a game off of Have Fun. But even if they don't, I think we can all agree that Dream Esports have come close to doing so.
Yeah, overall, we're just seeing high-level gameplay from both sides. It's definitely worthy to be featured on, Wild Rift Esports if we get there. So I definitely sincerely hope like they will get that platform of avenue where you could just get them featured, because these guys are showing raw talent.
Yes.
Every individual. Like you saw 𝗵𝗂 with Singe, outplays. We've seen Slash going in with the counter engage and all sorts of stuff. Z definitely have made a name for himself in this tournament.
Yeah, if we draw a parallel between this and WinTour, I think one of the biggest differences is that even though these two teams have one thing in common, which is individual prowess, Dream Esports were able to put their macro into play as well, right? It's not just about how the individual players win their lane or win those and get those clutches. It's also about how these teams play together as a unit, and I think Dream Esports show that. The read that they get on the potential movements of Have Fun, how they always go for the counter engage, how they always pull the trigger as one despite losing those fights, I think is something commendable.
That's right, and overall, of course, with one more game underway, we're just going to be giving them a little bit more time to really restrat for a little bit. So I guess like after 2 grueling rounds, they definitely need to take a fresh breath of air. Now, 100 IQ players going to be stepping in to fill in for Slash, I do believe. So I wonder how things are going to be different this time around.
Yeah, so we're looking at the switch of a jungler, one of the most important role in the game. In the most important game of the series, we get a switch of the jungler role. So we'll see how this is going to pan out for Dream Esports, because I think Slash has set the bar.
Remember Budget Bangy from the other team?
Yeah, well, yes.
What if this guy is the real Bangy?
I mean, if he's a real
to
Bangy,
come in and save the day.
If he's a real Bangy, I think the series has just ended for Have Fun.
Yeah.
But no, to be fair, Bangy needs Faker, and I'm sad to say I don't think Space Bar Killer is Faker.
Well, they both have something in common. Both their names start with ends with ER.
Yeah, well, that's 40% of Faker.
5%.
That's I'm giving it a bit too much credit.
Okay.
We see the Ashe and Lee Sin being prioritized, another Vayne ban, and a Singe ban. It seems like for Dream Esports, if you can't get Singe first pick, we're not giving it to you. If we can get it, we're not giving it to you. But whoa, Jace goes through.
Yeah, and I guess like the face-off against their Jace before, it wasn't really all too menacing, and after all those sort of changes, Jace isn't exactly like the triple S tier sort of Baron laner, so we frequently see it switch over to jungle, mid lane instead. Still has pretty positive results overall in terms of global win rates. Now, Yuumi, Kha'Zix are being displayed here. So I was wondering, like, you know, maybe we could take a playbook out of RRQ's performance in the recent WCSC finals. Like, it's something that is kind of reminiscent of the sort of flavors that they're coming with. So Kha'Zix, obviously they're going to go ultra aggro with this, but now paired with a Twisted Fate in the mid lane. Double assassins.
And this is exactly what I want to see, right? We discussed so much about getting the Yuumi through, picking a stronger jungler instead of a Jarvan, go for something like a Kha'Zix, like a Lee Sin. That's why I love this Kha'Zix pick. And you hit the nail on the head. The Twisted Fate also looks very, very good to synergize with what the team has right now. You have this cat delivery system. You also paired it up with a Tristana. And we saw how a Yuumi +1 worked for Have Fun. The Yuumi in Vayne, but this time you are taking a lot of Coffee's champions away from him, and that means that you put Coffee on another choice of his, which is the Lucian. Kind of a swap of champions in the same matchup down bot.
Whoa, a surprise Malphite though. Now, okay, how's this one gonna go? Because when you pair Malphite against the Jace, it's not really working out well, but then again, they've read it pretty alright that the Jace is gonna be moving into the jungle instead. It's gonna be a Baron lane Echo, so you could just keep hurling whatever rocks you could possibly throw at him. But then again, Unstoppable Force will be held back until he uses his rewind overall, so that you could basically save it for the killing blow.
Yeah,
I love the draft from each side, but I gotta say, you have a Kha'Zix that could hunt almost any members out of Have Fun because they don't really have a designated tank.
Yeah, they definitely can.
Tank Echo, maybe?
It kind of feels like it, because he went Fleet Footwork, but Tank Echo, I mean, you tried it before, and
underwhelming.
I don't think there's enough items to make the Tank Echo work.
Well, you got the Iceborne Gauntlet.
Yeah, well, that's one.
Divine Sunder is a questionable build.
It definitely is.
Uh-huh.
Doesn't really have any AD scaling. I think that's the main problem for
You have
AD
Saber. Not really the best item on him. But here we go.
Or Z.
Early game trades again.
I think he might go down. Coffee. Oh, wants the kill. Doesn't get it. So close. And somehow Dream Esports still walks away though. This might be a different story. They get the exhaust of the ASD and Spacebar Killer. He might be surrendered. They flash forward for the first blood. It's mid gap. It takes that.
Boy, that is a lot to take right in. And you see summoners being popped everywhere. I was just focused on two members of Dream Esports where Z walked away alive. Like, that's the only best case scenario that he could possibly come out with.
Oh yeah.
But Coffee, well, or should I say mid-gap, he got more than what he bargained for overall as an Orianna. Still going to take time to ramp up though, but that speeds up the process to secure yourself that Lumen's Echo.
Yeah. And I wonder what route this Echo is going to go towards, because normally we see this Lich Bane first item, you get the big burst from your combo. And in this case, there are some avenues for this Echo to get right in, since there's not really much crowd control from the side of Dream Esports.
Yeah, that's definitely something that they will really have to factor in. Dream Esports, they got a gold card, the final chapter, Unstoppable Force, high cooldowns though.
High cooldown, well, except for the gold card, but it's not the most instant crowd control.
Well, you can call Buster Shot a mini knockback.
Yeah, well, true. Then they get a gank bot, and this time there's no backup. Z needs to get away, but he's exhausted. Rocket Jump, he resets it.
What a champ.
What a player. Second time.
I don't think any of these members of Have Fun was expecting that jump to, be up and available. They were very ready to go in for some deep dive if they really want to, but they know it's going to be a lost cause. Just stopping 𝗶𝗶𝗍𝗱 from getting whatever needs to be done.
Yeah.
Just gonna quickly take a look at the itemization. I know it's early game, but we really have to check on what kind of route they're going with. Ooh, Evolution is merely going for a little bit of the orb start just to cut off some healing from Humble Diligent. Good move.
Evolution actually went for heal and ignite, so no flash for the Nami.
What a risky move, and you have a Malphite on the opposite end.
Yeah.
So I don't know how well this is gonna fare heading to the late game. Early game, sure, you win trades. You can actually get a whole lot out of that laning phase. So I guess the ideal goal is that they want to put Coffee up ahead, because 2 games in a row, he hasn't been able to match up to the Lucian. Now it's going to be a different ADC, different power spikes overall. So this Tristana seems to be in a little bit of a slight struggle after that poor start.
But she was able to escape 2 times, and I think that really matters a lot to a Tristana, despite not having the lane advantage, despite not really getting, being behind in goal. The fact that Z was able to get away with a slitter of health, 2 times in a row, I think is something that Dream Esports can be happy about. They want to go for the shockwave and they pull Styles Killer back, force the flash out from the Twisted Fate. A flash forward into command attack, actually not enough. It's a mid gap, not able to secure the kill.
Well, some high level plays overall. Tidal Wave hits.
The area once more. Z just cannot die.
Well, you know what Yuumi brings along? 9 lives for Z.
A guy, he's definitely blessed. But if they stay a bit longer, then he might finally go down, because the Jace is showing up. Coffee goes in, exhaust barrier will not be enough. He tries to go for the reset, but this time the second shot from that Light Stinger will finish him off. And of course, they get the knockback on the Yuumi. Twisted Fate ulti coming in. Styles Killer goes for a safe teleport. Unfortunately, then he's no kills.
Well, what was that interaction? Was that an auto attack from Orianna?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, that's a big clockwork. But then again, of course, if he was gonna use the gate a little bit further forward, that could have actually been a kill, but that will also cost his own life. So I think he kind of held back, understanding the fact that there's still some burst potential coming out of Have Fun. So this time, maybe the game state may not be as explosive as the past 2. As you can see that they have changed their approach. Have Fun really putting all their efforts over on the bottom lane, because they understand so long as you keep Z out of whatever goal that he could possibly acquire, then you have a little bit more of a easier time.
They have no destiny for Styles Killer, and he just got forced to recall. Kha'Zix takes objective fast, but he gotta do it a bit faster. He does it perfectly. Got a flash. And that does have the lead. They use the final chapter. Mid gap goes for the shockwave, and it connects onto all 3 of them. And that will be a double kill rewarded to the Orianna. But Have Fun, they want to go for more. Styles Killer goes in for the gold card. But Have Fun will send him off the field instead. Meanwhile, middle lane, 𝗵𝗵𝗪 is soloed by late for Scrim.
I'm not too sure if 100 IQ player was reserving his sleep just to get into a different scenario to get back into safety. And the unfortunate thing is that there was a ward being placed right there, so that sets up perfectly for them to know when exactly to blast out that shockwave, and that has been able to cut a few of these members out. So Herald wide out in the open. They managed to get the Drake for Dream Esports, but this time around, I believe that they won't be able to challenge this Herald overall.
And especially when you have a Malphite Baron lane. Without the ultimate, the Malphite is just a rock.
There's a window though. Can he get it?
I was thinking about it, but unfortunately late for Scrim is there. So Rift Herald goes over to Have Fun. And this Kha'Zix so far has not been able to do too much. They will unleash the Rift Herald mid. The tier 1 is going down.
Yeah. And they could possibly just deal a little bit of damage to Shelly, eventually needing to clear it out before he starts to do tier 2. Overall, this is the cleaner gameplay that we're seeing out of Have Fun. They have stacks of layers of crowd control overall, where if you stand under the second spell of Echo, what was it called again?
Parallel convergence?
Yeah, too long for me to remember. But yeah,
the
the convergence overall. So that's a stun. You have the tidal wave, you have the shock wave, and of course the Jays to come in right in whenever he's ready. So every one of these spells actually cause a lot of damage, other than Convergence, of course. So it's a lot of risk for most of these members to really go in for that 5v5, and they're still hoping that they can find ways to slowly pick people off. 100 IQ player, now that he hasn't really gotten anything out of it, so how is he gonna be efficient on these Kha'Zix?
I think for the side of Dream Esports, it's all about getting the pick off. Unfortunately, they don't really have the lineup to accomplish that either. They'll go for extra damage. Mid-Gap just commits onto it. Z pops the barrier. 𝗥𝗶𝗳𝗁 gives it the back massage. So far, 8-0. The cleanest game for Have Fun so far. I think to answer your question, if you're a Kha'Zix right now, this is probably the worst position to be in because you are not able to make any moves around the map. The only thing you can do is farm and perhaps try to kill this guy before he uses his ultimate, try to force him out early on late for Scream. He has to do it right now.
Comes Byron.
This should be a kill for the Kha'Zix. Good recovery.
Well, if he didn't cast the ult, could he survive though?
It felt like no.
Not exactly.
That's the evolve clause, right? So the extra attack range should be
A little further.
should be enough to reach him.
True enough. While it will have the rest of Have Fun enjoying a major lead in the first 10 minutes of the game, it's where seeing members of Dream Esports starting to face a little bit more struggle. We have yet to see a boot come out of Z. By now, he should have actually gotten a basic boot instead, but of course opting for the Zeal. It does give you a little bit of movement speed though, so I guess that suffices.
Yeah, I mean, Z is so far behind in this game on that Tristana. He definitely needs a lot more time. This was what happened to 𝗏𝗄 in game number 2. The difference is that 𝗏𝗄 was never at a deficit. Spacebar Killer, he's up against his Echo. It's all a bait. He has the ultimate, but Parallel Convergence stun right there. The gold card actually stuns him. He's gonna go for the rewind right now. Doesn't catch Spacebar Killer and ends up going down. But his sacrifice will be worth it because 𝗏𝗄 and Evolution are dealing significant damage to this tier 2.
Yeah, like they're just going for trades. They're just trying to get whatever gold that they could possibly snatch, but they have to make it quick into the Drake Pit as well if they can actually get their hands on Unstoppable Force.
Perfectly done. Kind of a fadeaway move from Dream Esports. They finally demolished this tier 1. Meanwhile, he had the exhaust on the Twisted Face. Spacebar Killer doesn't survive, and 100 IQ player gonna get a negative IQ in that play. Tries to overcommit, but goes down to 𝗏𝗄𝗁.
Oh man, these trades are not really the best that we will expect out of them. They're not even looking for the Drake. They're just going battles after battles, trying to delay it. But look at the inhibs though. They're starting to lose it. They have to defend, and these guys are being held right back. But here's more from late for Scrim.
The least they could do is to kill the Echo off. Even gets a Parallel Convergence stun.
Where he gets out!
That's the most unlucky thing that has happened so far. Z, he's not going to survive this, not even with the locket. And Mid-Gap, he's going to take this fight. Humble Diligent though. Can he take this down? The command protect! The kitty cat just does not scratch hard enough.
You just need one more auto attack. I think that will still leave a scar. Like, that's an angry kitty. You don't want to mess with that.
Well, now we know why. He didn't build AP. He went for Ardent Sensor. That is why he's not dealing damage. It's not an AP Yuumi. Though, the one thing that, you know, the one thing that people gotta keep in mind is that even if the Echo goes golden, the Parallel Convergence still treats him as an entity. And hence that stun was what saved his life. It really could have been, you know, a free kill for Z, but you know, it was not meant to be. The Destiny was used just to make sure that they know the whereabouts of members of, well, Have Fun. Spacebar Killer. Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah, a little bit more of a face check like this would be very costly. We're already heading into mid to late game. How wave hits onto 2. 𝗏𝗄𝗁 flashes over the wall preemptively, knowing that 𝗏𝗄𝗁 is going to be close by. Spawn out early on. As 100 IQ player has struggles of his own. Now they're just going to be leaving this mid inhibitor barebone.
They have to kill Evolution first. Like, Evolution has to go before they could get anything done. They can go in. Final chapter, engage Unstoppable Force. Can they get the reset on 100 IQ player? No, they can't even get the reset off. And he's gonna surrender himself for this, but they have a secondary reset, and that's in the form of Z. And this is his time to show up. They take the Echo first, but the rest of Have Fun are already out. And unfortunately, there's just no way for them to catch up. 𝗪𝗀𝗧 does go for the Destiny though. It's gonna be ASD, but he does have the Yo moves, the acceleration gate, the Proto Bell, so many ways to get out. And in fact, 𝗏𝗄 is now godlike. 𝗵𝗂𝗧 punches him into the ground, but it will be mid-gap, stopping 𝗵𝗂𝗧 from going further.
Yeah, the Jays had a flashbang prepared. ASD, he quickly makes his move out of the way. So far, just looking at all these sort of damage items that's being churned out of Have Fun. Yeah, they're just gonna be hitting hard. Just look at this Jays. Full lethality. Haven't seen this sort of build in a while. Well, honestly, it may look standard, but like, most often than not, you see all kinds of stuff coming out, but here comes Days running for his life.
Yeah, he just gets knocked down. And there's still no rapid fire cannons for the Twisted Fate just yet. He's slowly building into it. That's a Lich Bane and Rod of Ages, but well, 100 IQ player. He's very deep in enemy territory, and he just spotted 𝗏𝗄𝗧, but 𝗏𝗏𝗧 just gonna solo kill him. And so the game falls apart now for Dream Esports. In fact, mid-gap is gonna find 2 free kills for himself. ASD will claim 1 of that. 4 dead for Dream Esports, and this feels like Baron time for Have Fun.
I feel like they're just having that sure confidence that this game's already in the bag, where they're attempting this Baron with really low health bars, and since it's only spacebar killer, which is getting all these sort of output out of 𝗏𝗏𝗧. Sure, he walks away with a few bruises on his face, but oh, Evolution almost going down to the Baron. Now, here comes 𝗏𝗏𝗧, jumping with the pressure. They still keep the Baron alive, but can he steal it away? Oh, close enough with the cards, but it will still be a smite coming out of ASD. Takes the Baron power play.
It would be funny if ASD panic smite that and the card actually got it. Well, this is one of the few times you wish you actually had a rapid fire cannon. I think he just bought it.
Yeah.
Wasn't able to use that, unfortunately.
Just maybe a few seconds late into it. But then again, resources doesn't come by.
Oh yes, perfect targets. 𝗏𝗏𝗧, let's go in. Get the reset off. 𝗏𝗏𝗧. It's not gonna blow up from that, but this fight might just be done. They flash forward onto late for Scrim. Take the Baron buff off the map. The Shockwave misses. 100 IQ player goes golden right now. He's going to be Spacebar Killer. Z and Mobile and Humble Diligence. Z gets the reset of mid-gap in danger. Z fashions forward into 𝗏𝗏𝗧 and goes down. And he brings the Kitty Cat with him.
Over-aggression again coming out of Dream Esports. It's desperation mode. They want whatever shutdown goal that they could possibly get mid-gap.
Oh, it was under vision.
I don't even get to complete my sentences. There's just destruction all over the map. 𝗏𝗏𝗧 as well as mid-gap. They want to end the game real quick.
I think this game has already ended. 𝗵𝗂𝗧. His ultimate to come back up, but oh wow, he doesn't even get to use it. And we have gotten our winners. Have Fun for Malaysia will be the grand champions for the League of Legends Wild Rift Community Clash Season 2. A clean trio sweep over Dream Esports.
Really exciting best of 5 that we've got in our hands. Of course, it only went to 3 games, but it definitely felt like it was a game. It was games after games that members of Have Fun definitely have sweat for it. Overall, game 1, it was fights after fights. Game 2, exactly the same, but I think that was the closest that the Bruneians have definitely put on the table to challenge the rest of Have Fun, but it was way too tough heading into game 3.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference maker was definitely experience, right? I mean, we had a bunch of veterans on the side of Have Fun. They were able to play from behind. They were able to rectify some of those early errors. Whereas for Dream Esports, we see those flair that they want to take those fights, that they want to keep pushing the lead. But sometimes it's just not time yet for them. And in this tournament, it's not time for Dream Esports to win. But I agree, they did come close. They did draw some blood, and it's something that they can be proud of. So Have Fun will walk away with 1,000 ringgit, whereas for Dream Esports, they walk away with 500 ringgit. And I think they gave us the best possible grand finals that we could have asked for.
Yeah, and without a question of doubt, these are great quality matches out there. Not only did they have fun, they have money right now, so they get to celebrate over the weekend. So congratulations to not only have fun, of course, on second place, we have Dream Esports who also walk away with 500 ringgit cash.
Yep.
So I think that overall, I think like this is definitely the perfect place to be if you guys are aspiring to become pro players, or if you're already a pro player, then you can find time for scrims and stuff. Yeah, this is definitely that perfect place to be, as you have definitely joined us here for some amazing action of League of Legends Wild Rift in the Community Clash Season 2. Husky, Season 2 overall, I think that the quality has improved by a mile. Imagine what Season 3 has to offer.
I just can't wait. Right? We might be 1 year away from that, but I just can't wait to see.
Hopefully months away, though.
Hopefully months. Hopefully, the faster the better, right? I just want to see more Wild Rift. But with that being said, I have a suggestion on what you can do with the cash money.
Okay, what's that?
Spend it on the majestic Empress Morgana because it's a great skin. Support icons.
I'm sure $1,000 can get you more than that.
Yeah, well, that's my point, right? You take a portion of it. You get the skin, the teams get an injection of money, we get more tournaments, it's help the ecosystem. But I'm just talking out of my rear because because I've been asking for Morgana skin for so long. I'm just glad the exclusive skins for Icon is the Morgana skin. But with all of that aside, we've come to the conclusion of the WRCC, and just want to thank everyone for tuning in wherever you are. I've been keeping an eye out on people, commenting, people sharing the live stream. You guys are awesome, and of course we thank.
You guys are the MVP.
You guys are the MVP, the hidden MVP, the SVP, if you guys, if I would say. But we also thank the teams for being a part of this. It's been an amazing journey. I'm Husky, his Contra, on behalf of everyone behind the scenes. We hope to see you guys in the next season. But until then, have a great Sunday and goodbye.
The Marines have killed them before they walk in. Be your champion.
That is it. GG has been called. DMC.
Last year, we set the stage for the biggest esports tournament in Brunei. A $25,000 prize pool and a spot to show who was the best PUBG